enough evidence to make him rethink his faith in God and the Bible.
It's a video of Kevin Wesley. He used to be a pastor.
First of all, I want to commend you, ex-pastor Wesley.
It all started 325.
He went there. He went there. He went there. He went there.
There's a video going crazy right now. It's on World Star. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. And it's about a guy who, he says he was a pastor.
There is a God, but he believes that the Bible has too many inconsistencies and that there is nothing historically that backs up anything that the Bible says.
He has left the church and the Bible is not real.
I hope that you become the next TD Jakes of the conscious community. I hope that you blow up.
Wanna fly, can you take? Give me a star to reach for.
And I'll go so high.
I'll go so high.
Won't touch the ground.
Take these wings and
Pull these strings and stitch these wings before we all fall down. We just want the truth. The truth. Why? Consider make these walls fall down. We just want the truth. Why? Consider make these walls fall down. Ain't I the closest thing to an angel with broken wings? Can't fly. People tried to kill him, but he can't die. And he can't deal with the pain, the damage he inflicts on himself remains, and he can't heal. When he's supposed to, so as opposed to having energy, he doesn't. He's been exposed to the truth, and there's an enemy between him and God. So much chemistry between him and I. Chemically we're the same, so I guess he is my inner side. Intertwined, him and I are the same chemically, You got that medicine, it better be proven clinically to heal him. Better yet, kill him. Until then, I represent truth, and that's all I gotta say,
What's up, family? Hope everybody's good today. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Yes, like LaShawn said, share, share, share. Please share this. Please share this as many times as you can right now. Try to get as many people as we can in this video in here with us so we can have a good conversation, have a good topic tonight. We're going to get into it here shortly. It's a bit low. Okay, we'll work on that. Okay. Check your volume on your device as well. Hey Eden, how you doing? Welcome in. Keish, hey, how you doing? Welcome in. Sean, what's going on, brother? Vita, what's up? Stephanie, what's going on? Grand Rising to you too. All right, Sean said it sounds good. Okay. Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear, guys.
I turned up your volume a bit, so it should be better.
Perfect. Heck yeah. What's up, Sean? I see you, brother. Sean said, what's up, family? Why people watch? Hello. So you guys, if you guys were here for last week's conversation topic, give me a 1. Just type a 1 if you were here for last week. Just type a 1 if you were here for last week, the number 1. Okay, Miss J was here. Sean was here. Vita, okay. Fantastic. What's up, Brian? I see you, brother. Okay. Adelbert, okay. Popular Master Student, Chris Blanks, Almus. Eden definitely was in the house. Trish, Why People Why, most definitely was in the house. Yeah, Shirley, Sean, donations were great last week. Hopefully we can get a part 2 of that. That was really awesome last week, guys. We missed a couple of weeks, of course. And in light of knowing my situation with needing this surgery now coming up, a lot of people were, I believe, more apt to give. Maybe we're coming around. Maybe we're beginning to realize that it takes a little bit of help from everyone to be able to get something done. Hopefully it wasn't a fluke, and hopefully we can see it keep happening. Thank you very much, Adalbert, if I'm saying that right. Very much for your donation. Actions speak louder than words. So for a lot of you guys who said you were here last week, so we're going to be doing part 2 of that as well. Let's see here. Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you very much, sir. Actions speak louder than words. Get this started already, guys. See here, Sean, I said, man, I went to church today for the first time since I woke up to hear my dad preach, and I couldn't do anything but laugh because I saw through all the gimmicks. Absolutely, brother. And that's perfect what you just said, too, Sean, because that's what we're talking about tonight. We're decoding the Matrix part 2 tonight. We did it a little bit last week. Very surface layer. We're only going a little bit deeper this week because there's so much to this. So we're going to go a little bit deeper. You know, there's plenty of layers even just to the skin, right? Whenever you begin to look at things deeper. Some people see a TV, some people see a device, right? Some people look into it and see the screen and all the little, you know, things that make this TV work. Some people want to break something all the way down. That's what we're trying to do with the Matrix. So some of you may see one level of the Matrix, but we're trying to take you deeper and deeper. So we don't want to just dive all the way in because we don't want to lose anybody. People see on different levels, so I'm trying to gradually get into this thing so people can see. And I actually mean that, see. So again, Sean, like you said, thank you very much, Robert, for the donation. So again, Sean, like you said, you were able to see through all the gimmicks because you know you have vision now. You're able to see the things that that normally used to go right over your head in terms of the manipulation whenever you were under the spell. So it's real cool. Like most people, when they go back, they say it's so easy to see that it's BS, it's nonsense. After missing it for a while, but while you're in it, you just can't see it. See, Keith said, I went to church today, too. Real random, just as it was 2 years ago when I last went. It was sad, no spirituality at all. Absolutely. What you do have, Keith, is you have people that join together. So you do have a little bit of fellowship, which is cool. And that's what a lot of people like ourselves do miss, which is why we go back to that place, because we do miss that type of fellowship. I mean, when I used to go to Wilson to speak to that church that was coming away from religion as well, I got to see what I was missing in terms of when I was at church. You know, they were giving awards and stuff like that to children for graduating or just doing things in school. And I miss seeing that, seeing children get, you know, uplifted and stuff like that. So there's a lot of good things, positive things that the church does bring about. The problem is that it's centered around, or that it all revolves around the guise of religion. And we all know that there's just no historicity to that, no facts to that at all. So that would be the problem, absolutely. So you're right, Keish. There is no spirituality in a lie. It would be impossible. Thank you very much, Stephanie Cook. Means a lot. Actions speak louder than words. Hello, Tamasha. We see you. Dirty Water, what's up, family? Say, can you touch on praise breaks and people dancing and shouting? Sure. I've actually made a couple of videos about that shoe play catch. Really short videos, not long, but just went into how you got cultures all across the world who chant in languages foreign to their tongue when they get excited. You know, these things in no way, shape, or form should indicate that a God that you believe in is personally real, especially when you have no translator to break out to either translate or break down what you're trying to say. You know, in the sense of like dancing and passing out, you know, people do this all the time at different concerts, Michael Jackson concerts, Prince concerts, whatever. Whenever you have an expectation of a celebrity, or you like a person that much, so much dopamine is released in your brain. So in situations like that, you could easily pass out. Shortness of breath, less oxygen gets to the brain whenever you get overly excited. Lack of eating can cause a person to be more prone to passing out. Most people do not eat before they go to church. They go with an expectation. They have a desire to see God. The preacher, they believe he's anointed. So when he's about to put hands on them, of course, the expectations get even higher. And these things can produce dopamine, which can cause you to pass out and things like that. So just in a nutshell, just really quickly, that's what it was. If you watch those videos, you can see a little bit more about what I was saying, though. Thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Derek. I appreciate that. Came to PayPal. See if I missed anything while I was. Brian says he can't say that he misses the fellowship of church. To me, it's conditional. I understand that too. I think it all. I think when it comes to that, it matters a big deal on where you went. Like what type of church environment did you have? Like, you know, I talk a lot about, you know, my church members and stuff being hard-headed. Of course, I'm showing them that Christmas shouldn't be celebrated in the way that we celebrate it. Easter and all these holidays. I'm trying to talk to them about doing what I believe at the time were the holy days of God, which would have been, of course, looked at as Jewish festivals. But either which way, me trying to show them the things in the Bible and how we actually don't adhere to the things in the Bible and that we should do Bible things in Bible ways. They were very stubborn and didn't want to hear it. But I will say that, okay, so let me try this. Let's see. Okay, let me know if that helps, Josh. You guys can still hear me, let me know. But either which way, if you guys can't hear me, let me know, but I'll keep going. But I wanted to do, thank you very much, Lawan. Thank you very much, bro. I appreciate that. He said the videos be on point. Let's see, guys. Let me know if you can hear me before I keep going. I don't want to miss something. I'll have to go back. That's better. Okay, cool. Fantastic. All right. Great, great, great. All right, so yeah, I think it matters about where you went, guys. So like I'm saying, they were very stubborn when it came to, you know, lining their life up with what I believe was the actual word of God. But when it comes to what type of church environment I had, I would say it was pretty good. Everybody pretty much got along. We all got together and tried to love on each other and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. Like every other church, you have people in there who are set on not liking each other. You're going to have your competition and stuff like that in the church as well. But on a large scale, my church was a very mixed crowd, mixed with white and black. I always thought that would be what heaven would be like. Hispanic people were in there, right? So pretty much every ethnicity of person that I grew up around, went to school with, I probably had at least one of those that went to my church. So many different people from different backgrounds at the church I went to. But again, it definitely matters on where you went. My pastor, I loved him to death. He was like a father to me. Great, great man. Whether or not what he believed in was factual or historical or not, the man was great, and I look up to him to this day, or I love him to this day, I should say. He actually died some years back, but he actually was a really good person in my life. So overall, I would say that. Like I said, I know it matters where you went and all that kind of stuff, different experiences in different places. Melinda says she missed seeing Sister Ewan's wig fall off. Listen, man, I sit and laugh at my buddies all the time just about some of the people in the church. You know what I mean? Just remembering how they danced, how they shouted, the people who said the same stuff over and over. Like there was a lady who sat in the back of the church, and she was very monotone when she spoke, but she would always be like, amen. It sounded like a sheep at the back end because it would shake a lot, but she did it every single week, and you knew she was in there. You're going to hear her over everybody because she would always wait and say it when no one else was saying amen. So she strategically made her amen separate from everyone else's. If everybody else said amen at the same time, she was super late with amen, you know, so absolutely. He said, do I know of G. Craig Lewis and X Ministries? Actually, I do, man. When I was a preacher, I knew of G. Craig Lewis. He was one of those people who really put me on symbolism in terms of sun symbolism in the music industry. But of course, he was, you know, he was attributing these things to the devil, and the devil trying to manipulate you, and Lucifer using music to manipulate people. Not that it was occult symbols and secret societies. He was doing it more so that the devil was using music to manipulate people or whatever. And so, honestly, man, I caught on to that, and I used to teach the same things. I had people throwing away their music CDs or whatever. But he said something the other day on Instagram, someone had sent me, and he was basically saying that
if how can you say the Bible doesn't hold truth, or the Bible is not the word of God when it tells you do not steal, kill, do not do all these harmful things to other people? If the Bible tells you not to do these things, then why are we arguing and saying that the Bible isn't the word of God? That's pretty much what he said. I commented on there and told him that was absolute BS when you have pastors who preach this literature, who literally rape children. It doesn't matter if the book says don't do it. The people who are supposed to be chosen and complete oracles for this stuff manipulate and take advantage of people all the time, steal people's money. The church on a large scale does not put the money back into the communities that gave them the money. The money gets paid out in salaries, of course. And I also mentioned to him that, it was Christians that enslaved our ancestors. So much for the Bible being good because it tells you not to do things. The very people that we got this book from were enslaving us and raping us and hanging us and chopping off our penises and all this crazy, using us as alligator bait. We all know the whole story. But yeah, absolutely, I do know who that fella is. Nevertheless, man, let me know y'all ready to get started. Are y'all really ready to get down and talk about this Matrix Decoded Part 2? Who is the agents? How to spot an agent? Are you an agent? What is an agent? What does an agent look like? So let's just ask that question. Who is an agent? How would you spot an agent? How would you be able to tell an agent in the Matrix, guys? So an agent is anyone who is going to try to keep you plugged into or under the spell of the Matrix that's around you. Remember last week we talked about the Matrix it's all around you, right? It's a prison that you cannot see, taste, touch, or smell. It is all around you. You know it, but you can't quite put your finger on it, right? But we know that there are people who are set on keeping the Matrix or keeping the Matrix real to you, right? So how would you spot an agent? Those who would like to keep the Matrix real to you. Keep the paradigm that we see every single day existing. Someone says preachers, okay, materialists, okay. The Pope, okay. Media, absolutely. Doctors, absolutely. Brian said, let's see, Dirty Water said, hypocrisy, people who tell you how to live and hide their humanity from others, absolutely. Brian said, people who walking around with a sign that says repent and burn in hell, yeah, absolutely. Rappers, absolutely. Agent is anybody that does not listen, okay. Trolls in the chat, absolutely. Hey, look, y'all know how to find agents. It seems like y'all really do. Tamasha, you are absolutely right. It could be your parents. Absolutely right. Anybody that wants to keep you in check, bishops, okay. Nisha said parents, absolutely. Everyone is suspect. Great, great. There we go. So right there, so let's just read these next couple. Someone says politicians, shaking my head, my parents, absolutely government. Deidre said everyone is suspect. Let's go on that. Everyone is subject to being an agent. Every one of you. I, even myself, every single person that lives and breathes is, listen guys, you have to understand that an agent may not even know they're an agent. You understand? An agent is someone who contributes to the system, even if they're unaware that it's a system, but they're contributing to the system. You understand? An agent is any person who, whenever you talk about something that disagrees with their paradigm, they get mad at you as if you personally insulted them or attacked them personally. That's what an agent looks like. You understand? If you talk about women's rights and then a man says out loud, well, then who's going to pay for the first date or who pays when we eat? That's an agent. You're talking about women who obviously have been denied the rights that men have. Black men were allowed to vote before white women, and black people weren't even allowed to drink out of the same water fountain as white people. You understand? Black people were slaves and black men were allowed to vote before women, right? We know the culture that we grow up in tells a woman how she should live to be morally a good person, right? If she sleeps with too many people, she's a whore, all this kind of stuff. There's really no standard for men. And so women have a lot more pressure on them in life, period, all these names that negative names or stigmas that goes to a woman's sexuality to make her feel guilty for having sex or anything like that. Slut, whore, tramp, all these names that they have to throw at women. When really, when it comes to a man, you don't have them. A man can do the same acts and brag about it. Well, in reality, you have a woman who's physically weaker in most cases than a man. So they have to worry about a lot more things than a man would do, or a man would have to worry about. But based on just the simple fact of looking at this world, just based on the laws, anything like that, a woman can go to an interview, and if she is not attractive, the chances of her getting hired actually go down. If she is very attractive, even if she's not qualified, the chances of her getting hired are higher. If she has big breasts, the chances of her getting hired is higher. If she has a body that the man who's in a higher position or whatever, they would hire her. There are places right now that only employ women who look a certain way. Places like Hooters, places that serve you and they make their waitresses stay a certain size. So we know all this stuff happens, right? And so when you start talking about like women's rights and talking about how things should be fair, you'll have somebody that just doesn't talk about the facts at all. They just simply say stuff that's stupid, really, like who pays for the date. Like that has nothing to do with rights, man. That's really stupid. Who opens the door for who? These things are irrelevant. So what I'm saying is an agent is someone who shouts out something silly or red herrings or challenges you as if you offended them. If I post up something about being vegan and all of a sudden someone comes out and says, but still, eating meat ain't bad. Like I never said anything to you about eating meat. I just pretty much showed the weight that I have lost from being vegan, right? I didn't say anything about the people that eat meat. I never said that every person that eats meat is a jerk and they're going to burn in hell, right? I merely just said, look, you guys, I have been vegan for X amount of months. I've lost X amount of pounds. And then you'll have people who comment negative things, right? We know this happens, you guys. Tell me if you guys are not used to seeing this or if this is just my matrix, because this is what I'm used to seeing on a normal basis. And we all know that when we see it. People who feel offended or feel challenged because you're saying something isn't healthy or something isn't good that they're currently doing or involved in, and they feel a need to protect themselves. But it's not with researching the information or anything like that. It's just a regurgitation to try to protect yourself. It happens all the time, Nisha said. Absolutely. All the time. Absolutely. So we know agents when we see them. That's just on a simple note. But we're going to talk about some things today in terms of what to look for. So, Josh, if you don't mind, let's go ahead. You can go ahead and transition that over, make it smaller whenever you're ready. But we're going to get into this. I got a few pictures, guys. So just to help me remember what we're talking about, keep me on track here.
You want yourself just here?
Huh?
You want yourself just over here? Like the camera? Or did you say you have something else small?
I was going to have you transfer the slide over.
Okay, gotcha.
LaShawn said my brother said the same thing. Listen, guys, it's all too common. We know these people, right? They're everywhere. And again, they can be your best friend at a time. They can be you. So you need to always be clear of who's an agent. Consider the movie, right? When Neo would plug back into the Matrix, as soon as their location was known, normal people would turn into agents, right? And those normal people would try to attack Neo and his team or whatever. So this is exactly what happens at any given moment. An agent can show up and possess you, so to speak. And that agent is your ignorance. Because remember that ego suppresses intelligence. If you're working in your ego, you do not have intelligence. You're not operating in intelligence. So just keep those things in mind. Ego is to bury intelligence. They can't both exist at the same time, or you can't see the face of both of them at the same time, right? You're going to lose or you're going to, abandon your logic and your reason and your intelligence to protect yourself every time. People do this all the time. They can be clearly in the wrong and still can't see that they're wrong because they don't want to be wrong. That's their ego. They just don't want to be wrong. And that's really silly, right? And everybody at some point is wrong. So to live a life where you say, I don't want to be wrong, I don't want to admit I'm wrong, is really stupid. As if anybody thinks you're perfect anyway. Everybody know you're not perfect, so why even front? I wish people would be more honest and we could get along better. If you make a mistake, man, admit it. We can move on. When someone likes to lie about it, to me, like I tell my children, if you lie, it means you don't want to change, right? If you sit here and tell a lie, man, you don't want to change, right? You don't sit here and deny it. A person who really wants to change and be better would admit they're wrong. Take credit for what you do, right? Yes, sir. All right. So obviously we're calling this show How to Spot the Agent. So are you an agent? Get to my first slide here.
You good?
Yeah, I think I hit. That's what's wrong. Okay, never mind. That's my fault. All right, guys. So this first image you see, of course, it says this is not a person, but that is Heru and Set, right? Heru and Set. So who can tell me symbolically, because we know that people think that people worship these people as actual gods, as the same way that Christians and Islamic people and, many religions today worship their gods, as in talking directly to their God, praying to them, thinking they're answering back, thinking that they're really coming back to save them one day, or that they're listening when they talk, right? People think that Heru and Set were viewed in that way. But if you guys actually understand the symbolism behind Set and Heru, who can tell me what they represent? Okay, someone says light and darkness. Dang right, KD. That's why I love y'all. See, I ain't talking to a whole bunch of people who don't get it, right? I deal with people who've been around. And that's why I wish that when I went out in public, it would be you guys that I ran into. Because when I'm in public, I feel like I just can't talk to anybody because they're not going to really understand me. They're plugged into a different matrix. They have no care about any of this stuff. So it's really difficult, Heru is day, Set is night. Okay. Absolutely, Lishan. See, thank you very much, Shondale. He says some of us are so woke, in quotes, that if you disagree with their opinions and assessments, you become an agent. COINTELPRO, absolutely right, brother. Or flat out coon, absolutely. Loving the show as always, absolutely, Shondale. You're right, brother. People have their own set up things in their mind, their own matrix in their mind, their own paradigm, things that they have already completely accepted. And when you challenge those things, they get offended, right? So let's see here. Set is darkness. Okay, light. Okay, absolutely. Set is darkness and light. Has anyone of you ever heard, or are you aware that Set represents the ego or the lower vibration of yourself, right? The flesh of yourself, or the holistic part of yourself, the evil, darkness, right? Heru represents the light or the aspiration to be enlightened, right? Heru is always at battle with Set, or enlightenment is always at battle with ego, or intelligence is always at battle with ignorance, right? This is what Set and Heru represent, right? Both part of you. They're both parts of you. They are you. This is the point. It's not a God and a devil, or evil person and a bad person. We've talked about this before. If you take an O from good, you've got God. If you add a D to evil, you've got devil. Right? It's a play on words. It's to show you. Riri High just took the words from my mouth. It is to show you polarity. Literally, that's what it is. It's the Cancer symbol all over again. The 6 and the 9. You see the fish. One fish going downstream, one fish going upstream. It is just polarity. It is as above, so below, as within, so without. The Baphomet. All of these symbolism that you guys are seeing from the Rebus, so forth and so on. This is about enlightenment from the Kundalini energies rising to the top. Going from the bottom, going to the top to the pineal gland, or the neo-mammalian part of the brain, or your consciousness, to be enlightened. And it's two serpents, right? That serpent represents Heru and Set, good, bad, negative, positive. That's what the serpents represent. And they're climbing your 33 vertebrae to reach your Kundalini. Jesus dies at 33. This is just a symbology of it, right? Again, Set is your lower self. Heru is your higher self. If you guys don't know the name Heru, of course, that name, a Greek name for Heru was Horus. So most of you have probably heard the name Horus more than Heru. I say Heru. I know a lot of people, if I say Horus, they'll be like, that's not the name. That's the, That's the Greek name if I was to say Horus. So I just say Heru. But if you guys don't know who Heru is, then that's Horus, same person. Okay, just a different name, later called Horus, right? Again, meaning light. In fact, the word hours is an anagram for Horus. So we know that sundials map the sun, and even now, our watches or our sundials that's on our watches are mapping Horus or the hours right now. It tells us where Horus is, or it tells us what the hour is, right? So absolutely. KBOZ said Heru equals Jesus. Set is Satan. Absolutely. Satan, Set, and Nubis. Of course, with the if you guys have saw the video where I talk about the name God or the name Satan came from and things like that, where I talked about Anubis and the study of Anubis and what he represented and how that name could have came about. All right, so let's see here. Iron Charioteer said it's all evolution, bro. It's just humans trying to bring order out of chaos. Nothing metaphysical, no kundalini, no or chakras. That's woo. And that's a way of looking at it. Here's the thing about it. If you were to look at chakras and you were to say, okay, I'm going to carry my life as if chakras really exist. And then you say, well, I'm going to look at the chakras and understand the symbolism and the meaning behind them and apply it to my life. Either way, you can't lose. You see what I'm saying? So when we're looking at the symbolism, we're not necessarily saying that these things are true or 100% factual in that way. We're not saying that inside of your body, and I know you know that Iron Charioteer, but I'm saying that for other people as well. We're not saying that there's an actual 2 snakes in your body, anything like that. So we're talking about symbolically what these things represent, right? So again, it says Set is not a person or Heru is not a person. So I'm going to hit play on that real quick so we can get that slide on out of the way. I don't know what I did here. Hopefully everybody can see me still. We're still good. Okay, we are. Cool. Says they're both inside this man, right? Again, that's his Heru and Set again. I'm going to read the bottom of this if I can. It says the battle of Heru or Christ and Set, which is the devil, is within yourself. All right. One must become Heru to conquer their lower demons of self. The one must become Heru or Set in using their lower nature to support their higher self, right? They're divine. Now we see that. So again, this is the idea of Horus and Set. Now, spotting agents. We'll deal with that one. Now, who's in the matrix first off? So who would have to worry about an agent? So we have to get that first, right? Okay, right. That's right, Lishan. Where did God come from? What's the name of that video? Absolutely. So who's in the matrix? We all are, right? But that's different levels to the matrix. Let's number one say, if you have a job where you have to clock in every day, you are 100% a part of the matrix, right? Especially if you're not an entrepreneur. You do, in fact, work for someone else. You have to be there at a certain time. If you don't do things the way they want you to do them, you are a part of the matrix, okay? There's many matrices out here. There's millions of matrices. When you go to a person's Facebook, that is their matrix. You're looking at their life, the things that they like, the things that they're into. They share the things that they want to share, things of that nature. You can look at a person's page and be able to tell a lot about that person. You can most certainly look at my page and be able to tell a lot about me, or at least what my belief system or things that I don't agree with, right? You can tell more about me than you can tell just by looking at my avatar, so to speak. Thank you very much, Taz Perspective. Actions speak louder than words. So if you're in a job where you clock in and stuff like that, you know that you are part of the matrix. So we know that there are people who work the matrix, right? So people who we would call a operator, right? So there's an operator to the matrix. There's a programmer that's within the matrix. So we're going to talk about what the matrix is, the different sections, the different job titles that may go along in with the matrix, so you can know who you're looking at when you see them, right? So let's just take that you go into work, you clock in every day. The person that is your supervisor, that person is an operator in the matrix. This is why you get paid less than him, or you have less benefits than they do, because they are more beneficial to the matrix. The lower you are on the social scale, the more expendable that you are, for lack of a better word. If the moment that you start going against the matrix, you are easier deleted the lower you are on the social scale, right? So if you disrupt the matrix, if you try to disrupt the way that they want their company ran, if you break rules, even if it has nothing to do with your production, it can get you deleted, right? I'm using that term because that right now we're talking about fired, right? They can get you terminated from your actual matrix if you are not contributing to the matrix itself. If you're not doing, if the let's just call it what they call it, gosh, it's the words on the tip of my tongue. But basically the field, the environment of the job or whatever, they may tell you that you can't dress this way, you can't dress that way, you got to be this amount of time for your break, right? They may ask you to do a little bit extra one day. You may feel that they're unfair to you, things of that nature. But you're going to have to still act within their guidelines to be able to maintain your job. You're not in control, right? So this is a part of the matrix. Now, you're going to have people who are completely unaware of the matrix that they are even running. And then once they get so high up in the matrix by working the matrix correctly, believing in the matrix, and they realize that the matrix is wrong, they can become what they call an infiltrator, right? And this is that person who is going to cause problems in the matrix, right? Everybody know that person at work who don't like it. He or she talks about how unfair it is, right? How they don't pay you enough. We used to always talk about at my job how if you get a sale, right? Let's just say you sell a person a living room set and a bedroom set, a washer, dryer, stove. You get them the whole 9 yards. You send it all to them, right? Let's say they ask for 2 nightstands and you sent them 1, right? You sent them 1 nightstand instead of 2, right? Now you may have made $300 or $400 in commission off that deal. Could have been $1,000 in commission off that deal. If you mess up one thing on that deal, they would take your whole commission, as if you did not, sell that furniture. If you didn't spend the hours or the time that you spent with that customer, the time you spent on the phone with them, picking out their stuff, finding their furniture, staying on the delivery guys to make sure it's shipped right, answering and changing all the stuff that the customers have their stipulations on, right? You're doing all this stuff with these customers, and whenever you mess up one thing, they strip you of every last dime of your commission, right? As if they didn't still sell it. So the company is pretty much saying, yeah, we still sold the stuff, but we're not going to pay you, right? You're not going to get paid for it. And so you will have some people who just wouldn't say anything about it because they didn't want to cause problems. But then you have people who said, man, wait a second, this is really wrong. And you can't, like Claudia said it right there, that is not fair. Like, you can't take someone's whole commission because they made a mistake. Like, come on, man. They say, well, we got to redeliver it. Man, most of the time they're all around the areas that they deliver to every day anyway. And you're talking about a nightstand. How hard can it be, right? It's not like you're taking it 4 or 5 hours out of the way to one person's house. Most of the time they do a delivery, they're calling you saying, hey, I'm 15 minutes away, 5 minutes away, because they right on the next street delivering some furniture to somebody else anyway. And then they have certain days where they deliver anyway. So you would only take the nightstand back when you go back. So if you only deliver to that area on Tuesdays, then you would tell that customer, okay, I'm very sorry for the inconvenience. I did not put that other nightstand on. I will put that on and have it shipped to you on Thursday or Tuesday, whatever day I just said that the day was, right? So that's how it should work. Not the company say, you know what, we're going to take all of your commissions. And there was a lot of people who messed up on their deals, right? So just imagine how much money that the company is stealing from you just because you made a mistake. But when they make a mistake, they still keep the money, right? So think about how many times that you have typed in two nightstands and they only took 1 and you didn't do anything wrong, right? So they don't take your commission, but the company still keeps their money, right? They don't blame the drivers or nobody, but they do the commission people like this. So again, that's a whistleblower, a person who clearly sees that something's going wrong, something's wrong, everybody's being mistreated, and they blow a whistle and then they get punished for it, right? The people who do this often more times than not get treated like they don't care about the job, right? They go against the grain. They cause a problem. They're hard to work with. They always complaining and things like that. Well, sometimes things need to be said. And when things are being said, some of you guys have to understand that you have to stick with these people. If you're the only person, especially when you're at the lower scale, right, the bottom of the social scale, one of you speaking up isn't going to do anything. That person would simply get deleted. But if everyone spoke up, then these companies would have to change how they treat you, right? Change how they pay you, right? Change the type of benefits that they give you. Because now you have so many people that saying there's a problem that the agents won't be enough to stop it, right? I was watching Avatar yesterday with the blue people, of course. It's called Avatar because they create these false bodies that looks just like the aliens from this other planet that they're going to now because they've now ruined their own world. So they're now going to this planet to get some energy sources to take back to their world or even take over their planet. And so now they have these actual avatars that they are putting their consciousness into, trying to infiltrate these Navi people and get information from them and get them to move to make it, I guess, the easiest still possible. Leave the land, that way less people die or whatever. But that's the whole purpose of it. But either which way, this happens the same way. You see what I'm saying? One of the guys who was supposed to be like the chosen one, he's pretty much like a Neo, right? He's able to get the big dragon that flies in the sky, that flies higher than every other dragon, and he never has to look up because there's no dragon or no flying being higher than him, which represents the highest level of consciousness. And in the end, he asserts himself or raises himself to that level and gets the respect of the people. Now, he's going to have to go to war and fight off all of these agents or the people in the Matrix trying to destroy their Matrix. The life that they're living, their happiness, their natural organic lifestyles is now is now being threatened by the sky people, or the people, like they call them the sky people, of course, right? The humans are trying to destroy these people's way of life, trying to destroy their matrices, right? So that's pretty much the point of this whole Avatar movie. But either which way, he goes to this tree, and which is like a spirit tree, and this tree can hear your prayers or hear your conversation. And he plugs into this tree, so to speak, and he tells this tree that we need your help. The people that's here have already totally ravaged this planet, and we cannot do it with just us alone. We need every being to be involved in helping us fight these infiltrators, right? Or these evil people that came from this planet to destroy us, or whatever, colonizers, if you will. And out of nowhere, they appear to be losing, and on into the movie, you see like all these different animals that's on this planet come to the aid of the Navi tribe to help beat and destroy the humans who were trying to take over their planet. And it was basically his prayer or his conversation with the earth being answered, but it took all of them joining together to bring down this force. And I think that's what we need to recognize. He went and got every different tribe, right, on the planet to join in to help them destroy these people. And even the people who weren't threatened by these people, they didn't blow up their area. They didn't try to steal their land. They still helped to destroy the people who was trying to destroy their land, because they knew if they didn't, their land would be next, right? And this was like just a whole, like, I love these movies because there's different ways to watch them. You see on different levels. So somebody can just watch that and see a movie. I see so much more. I listen to every single word that's said. And you can see that it's almost as if they're trying to tell us something in these movies, right? Somebody might say, Kevin, you're being sarcastic. Obviously, they're trying to tell us something, but I just like to be that way. So, who is an agent? Let me read this to you. Types of people in the Matrix, all right? There are two main types of people in the Matrix. The first are the operators. These are the people who maintain the Matrix and keep it and make it a smooth running operation. And then you have the people who are operated, the employees, right? Those people simply work in the Matrix and are subject to the maintenance and regulations of the operators. So the rules and regulations of the operators you are subject to. So you may have a rule book that you read before you sign the papers and get hired, but you still have to listen to this other guy who's going to be telling you to do things that are not written in that book, right? He's going to tell you day to day how to do certain things and what to do, when, and why. Somebody doesn't come in, you might have to move over to a different station or help out, do something differently, right? I have saw The Purge, Theo. So let's see. Thank you very much, Lishan. You the man, brother. Actions speak louder than words. Let's see. So the next part, it says, now these operators can branch off into subcategories. Two subcategories I have. The first is an enforcer who works to keep people in order. Then the other is an infiltrator who may work as an operator but would give insider information on the people who operate within the matrix. Like everybody knows that one supervisor who will tell you what's really good, right? You can go to him and talk to him or her and just like, man, tell me what's going on, man. Like, are we shutting down? Are we slowing down? Is the plant going to merge? What's going on, right? Man, am I going to be fired? They talking about replacing me, or they talking about getting rid of my job. You might have somebody in it that have a little bit more understanding and be like, man, let me just go ahead and put you on game, man. Look, I heard them talking. They are talking about getting rid of you if you don't boom, boom, boom. If you don't do this, if you don't straighten up and ship out, or they're gonna have to ship you out, whatever. We all know people. Every manager is not hard up and they're not company men. You understand what I'm saying? Some of them you can actually deal with, talk to. So now we understand people that can be within the matrix in terms of where you work. But let's just talk about all the things that people talked about earlier with agents. We talked about people that you work with, obviously, because you got to go there every single day. These people work to keep the matrix intact, even if it's just a job. Think about it. If you're at work, giving your time and energy to your job that's barely paying you enough to live off of and take vacations and take time to really invest into yourself, and you're stressed all the time, trying to worry about how you're going to pay your bills, even though you have a job, they are doing a good job of keeping the matrix real to you, because you will always forever be the hamster on the wheel, making their business corporation move forward. And you will never get anything in return from that except for a paycheck and a few benefits here and there. And hopefully you can retire one day if you can stay healthy long enough until you get there, right? Which is crazy because that age keeps going up, right? Okay, Iron, I got you. No, bro, you good. Okay, brother. So, excuse me. So, of course, they underpay you, right? And all you're going to do is make their business stronger and better. They may come out and give you a pat on the back. They'll come out, sit down with you, give you a review. I call it an appraisal because they're only going to sit down and try to tell you your worth. They by numbers on a sheet of paper. They're going to tell you what your production levels are. For me, it was how many sofas did you sell? How many chairs could you put with a living room? How many washers and dryers could you sell? How many dryers could you sell with a washer? How many sets did you sell, right? They're asking these things to gauge how good you are of a salesman. Typically, people don't buy chairs. So if a person comes in, they buy a sofa love seat. How good are you to be able to also sell them a chair, some lamps, table, rug, pictures to go around it? Can you sell them a bedroom even though they didn't come in for that? How good are you? How many mattresses to bedrooms did you sell? This is how they appraised me on sales. And so they would sit me down and they'd say something like, let's just say they said, Kevin, you sold 54 bedrooms this month, right? But you sold 45 mattresses. That's a very high ratio, but we need you to get that up next month. Try to sell, 50 out of 54 mattresses to bedroom sales, which is going to be impossible to do, but they're going to challenge you to do it. And who does it benefit? Them. It benefits the companies who send their products to these places for their products to be sold, right? At the end of the day, though, there's nothing in it for you except for that instant gratification. You're going to get a paycheck, right? And that's about it. Well, these people, they're going to sell it to these people. They're going to sign a credit contract. This credit contract is going to make money off these people, even more money than the what's the name? And then the markup is ridiculous. Sometimes the furniture is marked up 500%. You feel me? So these people are not losing at all, and the commission that they give you is changed compared to the amount that they sold it for. And most of the products that you sell, they wouldn't have been sold if it wasn't you selling them. Because a lot of customers do have to be given information before they make a purchase, especially a large purchase, right? So you may get, if your job is some type of production job, your appraisal or your review may be different. But these are the people who come down and try to tell you how to be a better worker that can benefit them, right? Yes, a key. I did work at Aaron's. I actually ran an Aaron's. I was one of the fastest people, actually the fastest person at the time in the whole company to get promoted with them. I started off as an MT, a manager trainee, and before 9 months, I had my own store. And it was the same way. So I guess you know how that works if you worked at Aaron's Key. Yeah, I was a general manager with them. I ran one in Wilmington, North Carolina. some years back. So now we know that he said I was a sales manager. Okay, yeah, because see now, and even with that, like say hey, they'll move you to sales manager for a while, have you doing that, then they'll move you back to accounts, have you doing that before they'll let you be manager. When I first started, I had a horrible manager who was pretty much lying and saying he was out field visiting, and the Joker was home playing games with his playing video games with his account manager. I was an MT. So I'm the one there calling everybody to come make a payment on their accounts and stuff like that. Either which way, they both end up getting terminated at the same time. And so because they never came to work, I had to learn their jobs really quickly, which made me really good at my job. So when it came time for promotion, like 8 or 9 months later, I was very qualified. So most definitely. But again, at the end of the day, it didn't benefit me. I made their company a whole lot of money, and that they still treated me like crap. So. I sure will, brother. You're just saying, tell them the name of the YouTube. The name of the YouTube is Born Winners, guys, on YouTube. So yeah, Born Winners. Thank you very much, Kevin Davis. You're the man, brother. Actions speak louder than words. So again, who outside of work though? Someone earlier says preachers, pastors, ministers, all these type of people, right? Someone says politicians, the media. You got it. These people are the matrix. I mean, they are enforcers. I wouldn't call them agents just yet. Now, the media, of course, is an agent. You'd have to say that. They definitely are going to purposefully give you misinformation to keep you within the matrix, right? So this is true, 100%. But I want to mainly call these people enforcers. They work to keep the matrix real to you, right? The people who, someone says rappers. So let's just say you put a rapper on TV and he's going to continuously say, buy this, in order to be loved, in order to be valued, you must buy this, right? You must be wearing this. You must be spending this amount on this. I got a pinky ring that got 30 grand. I cost 30 grand. I got cars that cost this. I got jewelry that cost this. And they constantly bury in your brain that you have to wear expensive stuff in order to be valuable, right? You ain't nothing if you don't have this. What was it that what's the name said? Juvenile said, if it costs less than 20, it don't look right on me, right? And I remember that being said, and so many people was trying to make sure at the time that they wouldn't buy a shirt or anything that was less than 20 bucks. And they'd be trying to say that exact line like they wrote it. And that's how you can see that people are robots. Number one, that's Juvenile's line. So why you trying to inherit that whole line? And now you saying it like it's your thing. Listen, guys, don't be programmed. Every once in a while you have like somebody who comes up with some new slogan or some new word, and then it catches on like crazy. Everybody's saying it or whatever. From music to being put on the radio just so it can be buried in your brain. Your idea of good music is music that plays a lot. Your idea of good music is music that's popular, which is crazy. Thank you very much, Charles McCullough. Actions speak louder than words. Means a lot, brother. So yeah, we if a song is not popular and all over the radio, then it must not be a good song, because we trust the radio waves, right? We trust the media. We trust Facebook and YouTube. And we trust Instagram. If it doesn't have a lot of likes, if you don't have a lot of likes, you don't have a lot of shares, you don't have a lot of money, you can't be important, right? Nothing you say can be important, right? Like I know a guy who I respect a lot. He's known for having a lot of information. If I didn't thank you yet, Rolling Thunder, thank you very much. Actions speak louder than words. And this brother I look up to a lot. Great guy, very intelligent. But he was scrolling, and he put it on his Facebook page one time. He's scrolling Facebook, and he sees a person's live feed. They're live talking about religion, trying to debunk religion, talking about how they woke up and they want to change the world. You know, the stuff that we do whenever we wake up. Thank you very much, Brandon. He said, you helped me on my journey to debunk my spirituality. I appreciate that, brother, and I'm honored. Stay strong and keep at it, man. Let's keep evolving. I'm trying to get my train of thought back. Yeah, so he sees the guy's live feed, and the guy sees that he's on. You know how it tells you on a live such and such is watching. And when he sees it, he says, oh, man, yo, bro, you watching? That's awesome. Like, man, you did a lot for me or whatever, boom, boom. Telling the guy that he really helped him out along the way. I guess he was really excited to see someone that had helped to mentor him watching his live feed. Thank you very much, Philly girl. Actions speak louder than words. But either which way, the post that I read from the person that I find to be very intelligent says this right here. He says that I just came across someone's live and they only had like 2 or 3 people watching. And when they saw me, they start saying my name and I hurried them, got out of there quick as I could. Everybody's not meant to be a teacher. And the whole point of it was trying to say this person didn't have any viewers. So that means that he shouldn't be doing what he's doing. My whole thing is, man, I don't care if nobody's watching. Man, put the information up there. If it gets 1 view, man, you're doing more than most people. Most people know this stuff and walk around still teaching that Jesus exists and that these religions are real. Man, I give mad respect to any one of you. Even if you get some stuff wrong, I got some stuff wrong. Probably still will continue to get stuff wrong. We're all learning and growing. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like if we don't have this type of love and respect for each other and this type of camaraderie when it comes to other brothers and sisters trying to speak the truth, how are we going to ever make the truth known and become Neo, right? And become Jesus and Allah and all these people who were supposed to be Christ or given credit to for being a Christ? How can we do that if we're consistently holding each other back, right? You got people who teach the truth about religion and history, debating with people who teach the truth about religion and history, holding each other back, don't want to see each other go forward. That's just crazy to me. We should all be helping to benefit each other so we can actually make a statement and make our voices heard, because the media is huge. They have, every single media source is owned by the same person, right? Same family, same person, something like that. I had talked about this a while back. Thank you very much, Kevin Williams, for the donation. Actions speak louder than words. We don't have a media outlet to talk about the stuff that the world don't want us talking about. So it would be very important that we would unite with the other people who do see it that way, who do see the matrix for what it is, but we can't do that because of ego, right? Set is always of overpowering or hero or trying to. You have to always consistently work on your spiritual path. What do you mean by spiritual, Kevin? Are you saying spirits? Are you talking about something spooky? No. What I'm talking about is the things that are unseen, right? The things that are unseen, we're going to call those spiritual. Your thoughts, right? These things are inside of your mind. The world that goes on, not in the physical realm, but in your mind, right? This is your spiritual realm. This is your spiritual path. And we're all trying to grow and evolve and enlighten, because why? That makes your personal life and your own matrix that you project out into the world better. The more you know, the better your life will be. Or the more that you apply, the better your life will be. But you must first be able to know it in order to apply it, correct? So in order to make your life better, you must you must unlearn. You must be willing to say, I don't know, instead of believing that you know everything. That's what makes you an agent. Being within ego, thinking that you have to know it all. You have to be right. You don't want to be told that you're wrong. You don't want people to know that you were wrong about something. You don't want to be corrected because you're in your ego. You think you exist, and you so desperately want to exist. You so desperately want to be important that you can't let go of your ego. Let go your ego. Let go your ego. Like, seriously. You don't have to fight and argue with people all the time. You understand what I'm saying? We don't. The whole goal is that we continue to invest into our higher selves to be better, right? Not so much the person that we see in the mirror. That's the challenge. Recognizing in the battle between those two, the person that you see in the mirror in the physical realm that you can see the existence of, and the person that you know the existence of but cannot see, which is the mind, which is your thoughts, that person that is you inside, right? And that's the battle, right? The devil and God, the lower energy, which is yourself, the person you see in the mirror, and then the higher energy, which is your higher self, which is your higher thoughts, right? This is the battle. So the battle between Set and Horus. Someone said I woke up by myself, and that's very possible too, Tamasha. Let me say this right here. Now you're looking at a picture of Neo facing Morpheus. We talked last week about Neo, meaning the Neo mammalian part of the brain, which represents consciousness, and the Morpheus part of the brain, which represents dreams. We know that the god Morpheus in Greek is the god of dreams, right? And we're to be woken up from this dream, or the matrix that we live in. Dream is synonymous with matrix, a world that is not in fact real, but a world that seems real, correct? Now, dreams exist in your head. The matrix exists in reality, but the matrix also exists in your head. That's the only reason that it exists in reality. A person who sees a white person or any race of person, even if you're black and you see a black person as less valued than any other person, you see a black person as a nigger, you see a black person as a thief, a robber, because black people see black people like this too, because the matrix is no joke and mind control is real, guys. But the only reason you see that person as less than, as a nigger, as a thief, as not as good as anyone else, right? It's because you have been taught that. The matrix is in your mind and you are projecting the matrix out, right? Literally. That's what you're doing. That's what we're doing. The matrix that exists in front of you is only because you created to be that way. Think about this, man. When I tell you that most of my girlfriends, my children's mother, so forth and so on, were all very, very light-skinned women, right? Because I liked light-skinned girls. My sister was very dark-skinned, and they always called her black, clowned her. My grandma always said stuff like, don't go outside because you're going to get black. So I grew up thinking like, I guess, like I was trained to think, right? And then once I woke up and understood that black was beautiful, I began to like dark-skinned women and say they were absolutely beautiful, goddesses even, right? But this is because my matrix changed. Someone had to teach me the ignorance in my old ways in order for me to be able to see dark-skinned women as truly being beautiful, right? Not that they were ever ugly, but I preferred light-skinned women because of how I was trained, how I was raised, right? So I had to undo that. And in undoing that, my matrix changed. Now, when I see a dark-skinned woman, I see a beautiful woman. When I see a woman that doesn't have straight hair or long, what we call good hair, and hair that seems coarse, I don't see nappy hair like I was trained to see it. I see it totally differently now because my matrix has changed. But you're not just going to wake up and just see people differently unless someone shows you your ignorance. But like Tamasha, I believe it was Tamasha that said, I woke myself up. We all do, so to speak. You are responsible for your freedom. You are responsible. You have to walk through the door. And that's what Morpheus said to Neo. I can only open the door. It is you that has to walk through it. So we're all responsible for our awakening. We're all responsible because we had to let go of what was in our hand. If you ever hear the story about how hunters found a way to catch a monkey, or where they take a box and they cut a little hole in it, right? And they put an orange in that hole, or a banana or whatever. And when that monkey can barely get his hand in the hole anyway because the hole is small, but it's just large enough for him to get his hand in it, right? And so he gets his hand inside this box and he grabs the fruit of the pear, of the whatever fruit's inside. And all of a sudden, here comes the hunter now, seeing that the monkey's trying to get the fruit out of the hole and cannot, because now with his hands open, his hand is too large to get out of this hole, right? And now they're able to just walk right up to the monkey and catch it, right? That's simple because the monkey does not think to just let go of the fruit. If you don't just let go, then if you let go, you can be free. But he won't let go. He will not let go of his ego. He won't let go of what he personally desires at that moment, and it's going to cost him his life or his freedom, right? And this is what I mean when I say let go of your ego. It can cost you everything if you truly believe in all you care about is feeding your lower self. If all you care about is feeding your ego or the person that you see in the mirror, I promise you, man, if you ask most people what they want to be when they're a child, you're taught to try to aspire to be the highest thing possible, to be respected, right? To get clout, or even something that would yield you a lot of money, because we're taught to think this way. Let's just do a little game or a little test first, guys. When you were a child, and they asked you what did you want to be, let's just go back to your earliest age. Your earliest age. What was it that you said you wanted to be when you grew up? Was it a lawyer, a doctor? What was it that you said you wanted to be as a child? Maybe you had to color a picture of it. all this. What do you want to be? Because they always want you to think in the future. What do you want to be? They want, and that's all. That's what it is. It's all challenging you to see your ego, right? Your ego. What do you want to be? And when you think about this, you think about what you want to be in the realm of reality, in the matrix, right? A pilot, a nurse. I wanted to be a fashion designer, a police or fireman. Okay. An artist, police officer, NFL player, absolute cardiologist. Okay. And you notice that everyone is putting something that exists within the matrix, right? Because that's what we're taught to do all through school. All school is for is to program you into staying into the matrix. He just said Diana Ross. That's funny. A road runner. I got you. Papa Master Student said, this is true. This is something I'm working on myself. I'm making progress because it's getting harder and harder. I got you, brother. Thank you very much, Niche. It says Lighthouse in the building. Absolutely. Shout out to the Lighthouse of Jamal Milton. 100%. He said Kobe. Yeah, that's right, pay homage. And we're going to get to that. See, pay homage deep. He already a little deeper than most. But you absolutely right, brother. He didn't become Neo until Trinity told him to. Absolutely. He was dead until Trinity woke him up by telling him that she loved him. Right? She said that you gotta be the one, because the oracle told me that I would fall in love. The one I would fall in love with would be the one. And I love you, so dang, I'm making a connection here, right? And Trinity told him he was the one. Even when the oracle told him that he wasn't, Trinity, mind, body, and soul, told him that he was the one, and then he listened. Because it doesn't matter until you realize it yourself. You understand? That's crazy dope. That's crazy powerful. It does not matter until you realize it yourself. People can tell you something all day, but until you begin to see it for yourself, you can't truly be it. But as a child, just to stay on the topic, we talked about things that we wanted to be when we grew up, and these things were telling us to focus on the outside. What do we see ourselves doing? None of these things were about your character, right? They weren't talking about challenging your character or anything like that. These things are just, what do you want to be? So I want you to aspire to be something which is going to completely negate or abandon your spirituality to make you focus on the matrix, because it's very important to them that you want to be someone in the matrix, because if you are someone in the matrix, you benefit them because you're helping the matrix, right? You're contributing to it. And that's the whole deal, right? And so this is Neo face to face with his dream. This is the consciousness face to face with the dream right here. You see the cup in the background sitting on the table in the center of that table. On the avatar, the lady of the Na'vi who was supposed to train Jack Sully to be an avatar, or to be a real Na'vi, because he's obviously an avatar, a person, human's consciousness into an avatar's body. She tells him that I cannot fill a cup that's already filled. And then he says, my cup is empty, right? This is representation of, I have no knowledge. There is nothing that I know. I won't argue. I won't debate. I am here to learn, right? Your cup being full means that you think you know it all, right? And so we all have to say, let's empty our cup so we can receive, so we can learn. Thank you very much, Felix. That is awesome. Actions speak louder than words. And I like what he said. Felix said, so you can get well. Again, just that term "well" alone it refers to water, right? WELL is a vessel dug in the ground as a water source, right? To get well. We call that, of course, health. We deal with that with being healthy, but I was just talking about, of course, water and the cup being half full and empty. And he came up and said, get well, right? So we want to be an empty well. We want to be empty so we can be filled with clean water, right? Because until you get this dirty water out of you, putting clean water in dirty water is just going to stay dirty water, right? And that's obviously, shout out to dirty water. We want you, dirty water. But I mean water without the H. I think you got a D in there too. Faith Kiff said, my cup is empty. And that's the whole key. I ask people all the time to just say, I don't know. The moment that you say, I don't know, you make yourself susceptible to learning information. The moment that you say, I know, you have now cursed yourself or dammed up the flow of energy that can come into you, the flow of information, the data that you can download you've now dammed it up by saying, I know, I already know. Just say, I don't know. Man, how many of y'all people know somebody that always say they know something and you know they don't know? They act like they know everything. As soon as you say something to them, they say, oh, I already knew. And you know they didn't know. Like, come on, you know you didn't know. So I test these people. You say a little something, they say, yeah, I know about it. Oh, okay, what do you know about it? Just so they can show, just so I can show them that they're in their ego. They need to see it. So I put them on the spot so they can see their own ignorance, and then they get mad. And that's why, like, religious people get mad at you as well. You're exposing them to their own ignorance, the stuff that they don't even know about their own literature, that they think they know, like something that they have completely subscribed their identity to, right? Ready to argue with you about it, tell you you're going to hell and everything because you don't support their matrix, their paradigm. And then when you begin to ask them questions about something they say they believe in, they realize they don't know anything about it. And then what do? Get mad at you, right? They get mad at you as if you're trying to attack them, right? You just the Antichrist, right? That's all they say. And they get mad at you because you're challenging them. And now they're mad because they know that you know that they don't know what they're talking about. And everybody wants to seem like an expert because nobody likes to be embarrassed and nobody wants to be dumb. Ego, like LeSean just said, they get butthurt. That is absolutely true. They get so upset because their intelligence is being revealed, or their lack of intelligence, I should say, is now being exposed. You spoke up, you ran your mouth, and now I'm going to give you the opportunity to actually say your thoughts, and then we realize how crazy you really are. Listen. People look at Facebook and they say, man, the world is coming to an end. People are just out there. They say the craziest stuff. They do the craziest stuff. Listen, people been crazy. People been ignorant. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, this gives people an opportunity to put their ignorance in the forefront because most people don't have an opportunity to have a soapbox, to say what they're thinking, to expose their mind. But Facebook and all of these different social media platforms are going to give them an opportunity to do that. Tim said they start babbling. Absolutely. They raise their voice because they believe that projecting would make it seem like their truth is more real, right? They stutter, they get mad, and it's often going to be said sarcastically, and then it's going to be an insult thrown at you, right? And then they're going to say, well, you just have to be faith. These things will be revealed in time. You ain't going to know it all, and your brain can never understand God. You're looking at it the wrong way. You're using your intellect trying to understand a spiritual God. You're crazy, Kevin, and you can't even understand this spiritual God that you're talking about you worship and say it's good as all the time. How can you say it's good all the time and you don't even understand this dude? Let's be honest. Just be honest. You accepted the information because it was taught to you. And it was the matrix that you grew up around. And it's okay. You don't have to feel embarrassed. We all did the crap. There are a few of us that say, man, I went to church and I never bought onto it. Well, fantastic. Man, but most of us did. That's okay. I don't understand why we have to be so perfect. Like we can't admit that we were duped. Come on, man. People have been tricked before. And the mind is easily manipulated when it doesn't have information. If you take an ignorant mind, it is very pliable. It's very easy to manipulate a mind that does not know anything. You understand? A person who has studied something is a whole lot harder to manipulate than someone who's never studied it at all. And when you're a Christian or you're a religious person, most of your knowledge is regurgitated information. It's recalled. It's not actually studied. You're recalling it. So when someone says God is good and you respond back with all the time, you didn't read that anywhere. You're only repeating what you've heard. And this isn't knowledge. It doesn't work that way, you know. But this is Neo face to face with that. How do I be conscious of when I do that? How do I be conscious of when I'm regurgitating? Because we can still do that even being free from religion. It's a brain. It's your brain that's been damaged. It's you're ill mentally, and so we're trying to correct the brain because we have been taught to learn incorrectly. You understand what I'm saying? Bougie Bullwiki said, Kevin, given your paradigm, would you say that what you teach is based on what you don't know, or what you expect? Or are you an exception to your ideas? Okay, so basically, when I always say I don't know, right? What I try to challenge people to do is simply just think Bougie Bullwinkle, if we can just simply think and have our own thoughts and weigh them out, then we can have a better world. What we don't want is someone who has not verified what they're saying to be telling other people who's not going to verify what he's saying, and they're going to go repeat what that person said without verifying it. And it's just going to continue to create the same problem. And then when someone comes and offers truth, all of a sudden that truth sounds like a lie because we've been regurgitating just random information that sounded good because we just go around repeating it. We got to stop doing that. Thank you very much, Black Caesar. Actions speak louder than words, brother. So again, the actual point of being enlightened or of being awakened is you have to realize that you don't know anything. So it's Neo face to face with this dream world with Morpheus saying, I want to walk through that door. I don't want to live my life in the dark anymore. I actually want to see the world. I want to see it for what it truly is, right? Right, Tim. Religion spreading rumors in people's ears, absolutely. Faith Kip says you have to do your own research. You have to give to your higher self. You know how we talk about sowing a seed and giving money to God and stuff and getting it back, pressed down, shaking together and running over. Well, if you are your God and your higher self is your God, right? Give to that God and see it given back, pressed down, shaken together and running over. And I mean by way of knowledge. Take the time, invest into your higher self. Give your higher self knowledge and information that can help you. And your higher self will repay you. All right? You understand that? Your life will begin to line up. But if you're just going to keep on living in the dark, you cannot be mad when you keep ending up with bumps and bruises because you bumping into stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Figure out a way to be enlightened. Turn the lights on. You can maneuver a lot better. Just an analogy. Neo facing the dream. Set facing Heru. Polarizing energy. And they're very good when they do this, guys. Look at Neo's outfit. White with the black lining. Look at Morpheus' outfit. The exact opposite of Neo, right? But they are polarizing. You understand? You're looking at the Cancer symbol right now. You're looking at 69. You're looking at a rebus right now. Morpheus and Neo right now is a rebus right now. That's the image that you're looking at right now. The double-headed bird, the fish going downstream and upstream. Yes, the yin and yang. Tim and Miss J just said it. That's exactly what you're looking at right there. Thank you very much, Clinton Green. Actions speak louder than words. So you see this polarizing energy right here. The sleep world competing with the real world, or with the Neo, the consciousness, the mind, the one that wants to be aware of what's going on, is competing with the world that doesn't want you to be aware of what's going on. You understand? It's just polarizing energy. So this is Set and Heru right here. This is Horus, and this is Heru. And Set. This is Jesus and the devil. This is what this is right here. Neither one are good. Neither one are bad. This is polarizing energy. The goal is to find balance, to be both, to have the double meaning the other you, devil, the double, right? To have the other you that is in the flesh, the physical you, right? But also balance that with the spiritual you, right? Balance between both worlds or both realms, so to speak, right? And if you run off in the physical world and leave your mental behind, you're going to be ignorant and make a lot of mistakes. Here's what happens. Man, you ever see somebody who gets an idea about starting a business or anything, and they get gung-ho, run off, and just think they know what they're doing? You make a lot of mistakes, right? You make a lot of mistakes. But when you take the time and get someone who's done it before to be able to come alongside of you and help you, right? When you take the time to be able to say, I'm going to learn how to do this the right way, you make less mistakes. So don't run off and leave your spirituality. Don't run off and leave your mind, your ability to think, your ability to be aware of what you're doing. Right? Andre said protagonists and antagonists. All religions have them. Absolutely. The difference is with the Bible is your protagonist is your antagonist. Jesus and the devil are one and the same. Jesus is represented by a lamb. Satan is represented by a goat. Of course, the Baphomet is a goat. Jesus walks on water as he represents the feet, which is Pisces. He washes feet. The Capricorn is the goat with a fish tail. Okay, Jesus is the son of the morning. Lucifer is the son of the morning, and Jesus is the bright and morning star. Jesus is the light of the world, and Lucifer's name, Lucifer, means to bear light, the light bearer, the light bringer, to bring light to the world. They both offer wisdom. Satan offered wisdom by way of fruit, right? Jesus offers wisdom by way of teaching. They are both the same person. They're the same energy. And what we can't understand is that they're both together. They're just polarizing energy. This is why Satan aims to tempt, because when you see someone who is only fulfilling their fleshly desires, this is what you're calling living a matrix style life, like sleeping with 5 women in a week and bragging about it, right? Always at the clubs, drinking, staying drunk all the time. You're always intoxicated, never in your right mind. And the people that you hang out with are a competition with you to see who can get the most intoxicated and get the most separated from their mind. I mean, I see pictures all the time that show people spread out, completely unconscious from drinking or whatever, and it say, if your party ain't this lit, don't invite me. Thank you very much, Michelle Madison. Actions speak louder than words. I'm honored too. Thank you, Tim. Indeed, brother. Indeed. But yeah, they'll compete to see who can get the most separated from their consciousness by getting so drunk or whatever and tore up that they're like, yo, last weekend I got drunk like 3 days in a row. They're bragging about getting separated from their consciousness. Man, I woke up, I ain't know what happened, bro. Like, man, I was out of it, bro. Like, what? I'm going out and doing that again. It's just crazy, right? And so you see people who always satisfying their fleshly desires, always, and they never take time to work on their spiritual desires. So they never take the time to work on the intellect that they need to require to be who it is that they want to be. They just want to try to be who it is they want to be because they're always looking outside themselves and they're looking at people who has accomplished it. And so they feel this sense of urgency that they're not where they want to be, but they don't understand that the way to get to where they want to be is that you have to go inside. You understand? You have to deal with yourself. You have to deal with you first. If you're going to change you, it starts in here. Man, you can take somebody you can take somebody and hand them a bunch of money, but if this ain't right, they'll lose that money. What is the saying? A fool and his money is soon parted, right? You can easily separate a fool from his money. You understand? Because a fool does not understand what value is. And that fool will give up what he has for whatever you tell him is valuable. So if you have a bunch of money and I have fooled you into believing that what I have is valuable, even if you can't see it, I may be able to get you to give me your money for whatever it is that I have convinced you that was valuable. Ego, right? Plus value, plus things that perceived value creates ego. So I made you believe that what I had was valuable and you bought it, right? Thank you very much for Riha. She says, Kevin, keep up the good work. The ego can keep you from reaching one's potential. Absolutely. However, if the ego is used correctly, it can provide a way to your true higher self by way of our subconscious. Absolutely. Really enjoy these live feeds. Thank you very much for Riha. That donation is absolutely amazing. Actions speak louder than words. But that is absolutely powerful, guys. Like she said, with the subconscious, guys, remembers. Whenever you're saying, man, when I asked you, tell me what you wanted to be whenever you were a child, and some of you guys said policemen and firemen. A good example of what subconscious is that's what the subconscious does. It recalls, it remembers, it does not learn. The conscious mind is what learns. So this is what I mean. You have to take the time to consciously learn, to consciously feed your higher self to learn. And again, that ego comes into place whenever you say, what I need to do in the real world, I'm going to now take what I have learned and implement that into the real world. And so absolutely, your ego can create a better life if you understand the balance. The ego is not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. There must be balance between the two. This is what they're saying with polarizing energy. So this right here is really good. This is what the agent says to Mr. Anderson. And you guys don't know that Neo's name in the Matrix his name is Thomas A. Anderson, right? So illusions, Mr. Anderson. Vagaries from And I actually can't pronounce that word. I should have looked it up before we went going. But see, I admit when I don't know something, so I'll definitely learn how to pronounce that word and what that means. So, but anyway, of perception, temporary constructs of a feeble human intellect trying to desperately justify an existence that is without meaning or purpose, and all of them are as artificial as the matrix itself. Wow. So let's see here. So that word, let's see here. So that word is pronounced vagary, guys. It's an unexpected or inexplicable change in a situation or in someone's behavior. So illusions, Mr. Anderson, vagaries of perceptions, right? So that means an unexpected or inexplicable change in someone else's behavior, right? It says these temporary constructs are of a feeble human intellect trying desperately to justify an existence that is without meaning or purpose. This is what we do. We always try to justify something that is without meaning or purpose by giving it meaning and purpose, or applying the meaning and purpose to someone else, attributing it to someone else, right? And it says all of them are as fake as the matrix itself. The things that you give the credit to are as fake as the world that you live in itself. Because the world that you see you only see that world because it's taught to you, right? You see it the way you see it because you've been taught to see it that way, right? It's not what it always looks like. So who is an agent, guys? Now, people don't normally look like this when they become an agent, but I wanted to get this picture right here and show it to you because, when Neo is like on a rooftop, this guy, he sees Neo's fighting. He says, we're being attacked. And 1 second later, the agent becomes this guy, right? So he can go and attack Neo, of course. But this is how it happens. When you say something that upsets someone else's paradigm, they literally become an agent just like this. You see a whole different person show up. What was it, guys? If you guys watch Ray Hagan's, he said that years ago, he heard someone at some type Christian convention or whatever say that Horus was the first name of Jesus. And he thought they was saying Horus, like Horace, like Horace Grant, the basketball player. And he says he starts binding the guy in the name of Jesus, telling him that the devil is a lie. But that was only because he was unlearned. But he became an agent because what he was saying, what the guy was saying, disagreed with his paradigm. Ray Hagan's had no control over his actions. He was a robot. He became an agent because he was possessed by an agent at that moment. His ignorance showed up to protect his ego. You understand? Wait a second. There's no way you right because I know the truth. And it wasn't until years later that he actually learned who Horus was and was like, well, damn, I was on one. Full of himself, thought he knew something, and realized that he was dead wrong, arguing with somebody about something that he didn't know about, right? And now he spends his life talking to people that disagree with him. And he stands in the same position of the guy that he was against years ago, right? You see how that happens? Whenever you come into your own, you suddenly realize that you were against yourself the entire time. You were your enemy. You were your devil that was keeping you from seeing heaven. You were the very devil that was holding you back. Ray Hagan's at that day was the demon that was holding his own higher self from hearing the truth. If that demon did not show up, he could have heard that Horus was that name, and he could have simply went and looked that up and found that information and woke up years before. But his ego took over. And this happens in many different situations in our life, not just religion. People always challenge us on something that we're doing that we don't want to stop doing, and we don't want to hear it, and that agent shows up, right? Someone can talk about a loved one that you have, husband, wife, whatever, and tell you they're cheating on you. You don't know. You are not always around them. And this person's telling you they saw that person, and here your agent is showing up to tell them that they're wrong. Cut them off from being a friendship, from having a friendship with you, whatever the case may be. Because now you're mad because they exposed something in your matrix that you didn't want exposed. And it upset your matrix. It upset the world that you thought was real. And now you're mad. You see, and that's all it is. When I say something that upsets your world that you believe is real, now you become an agent. The agents are there to protect the fake world. Your agents are going to protect your fake world. So We all still have some fakeness in our world, in our mind. We all still try to unlearn. So at any point in life, believe me, your matrix can show up. You understand? I like that, electric educators. Get out of your own way. Dang right, Tim Thomas. Get out of your own way. You are the person that's holding you back. Think about it, man. You take that donkey that's chained up to a little bitty peg in the ground. He could barely move and not even know it and pull that peg out of the ground. But he refuses to do so. Why? It's not because the rope is so strong it's holding him down. And it's not because the peg is so deep that it's holding him down. It's literally his ignorance and his own fear that is stuck in the norm. You understand? That is keeping him from doing it. His body, his physical ability did not change. That donkey is still capable of being every bit as strong as it's designed to be. But it cannot tap into its true strength because it's manipulated and it's in prison. And that prison is right here. And that's a lot of you now. A lot of you right now have ridiculous potential. Could be amazing. Could be doing really powerful things in this world. But yourself is holding you back and holding us back. Right? Whenever someone says, okay, like even with what we do now, we're talking about changing the world, you know, and discussing how every little bit helps and all it will require is everyone giving a small amount, like the donation earlier of $50, $30, $25, $100. All these are amazing. But you realize if every person tonight gave $3, we would probably have our greatest donation night ever. Just $3, you see. But it's people saying, I don't want him to come up, or I don't trust him, or what are you going to do with the money? It's all of this in yourself that's holding you back, right? From trying to create what we're trying to create. Just imagine we all did it. We all gave to this mission. And all of a sudden you see us out here doing powerful things in the community. How many more people would that now prompt to now contribute to the mission, but haven't yet because they have yet to see us out here doing great things? You feel me? It's like, again, that's what Faith Kipp just said. It's time to let go of the fear. And what is fear? False evidence appearing real. It's time to get rid of it. It's time to say, listen, man, what is it that we want to see? And am I willing to contribute to what I want to see? It's time to get rid of all that. Well, what if he don't do what he say he's going to do? What if this? Like, look, what are you losing by giving $3? Really, what you losing? It wouldn't take you long to realize if I was fake or not. Then you wouldn't have to do it. You could just stop giving your $2 or your $3 or whatever. I got 144,000 followers on Facebook. Just one of my pages. If they gave $1, we could be doing amazing things by tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what I mean, that we are holding ourselves back, and we know that it's our ignorance. It's the sheer fact that we don't want to confront our ignorance and the fear of. I honestly think that we're afraid to be successful. I think that we are self-sabotaging ourselves. Thank you very much, Terry, man. You're the man, brother. Actions speak louder than words. I really, truly believe that we are self-sabotaging ourselves because we are afraid to succeed. And maybe it's in our DNA because especially people who identify as black in the Western world, every time we tried to come up, we caught it from everywhere. Business owners were hanged, and then you got Black Wall Street with Tulsa, Oklahoma, the bombed by their own country. You know, I get it. But what I'm saying is, like, we can't stop trying to be better. We can't stop trying to better ourselves and better our future. We should start thinking more about our children's children rather than our own personal selves, because we have to remember that's ego. Put yourself down. The Bible tells you to die daily. I don't disagree with that. What that means is lay down your personal desires and stuff daily and focus on what it is that you want in the world spiritually. You want peace, but we work harder for money, right? We all want peace. We all want to get along, but we work harder to buy that next item, that next, piece of clothing that's going to make us look cooler in the world and make us look more handsome or more beautiful, that next body augmentation, whatever we're doing to try to make ourselves appeal more to the people in the matrix. We contribute more to trying to be better in the matrix than we do in the spiritual realm, right? And this is why I say we must contribute time and energy to our higher self and invest it in our higher self so we can be better as a people, be better as a person first. And if we all be better as a person, we'll be better as a people. That's why we got to go inside. So someone asked me earlier, like, Kevin, so is your thoughts the way for all? No, my thoughts are just that. They're my thoughts. And if you would just consider what I'm thinking and you think about it too, you can wait. If it's going to help benefit your personal matrix. My personal matrix, my dream is to see the world be better, to see a more peaceful world, to see a world that's not manipulated by religion, and see people not giving away their money to churches who ain't helping nobody, and see people suffering through their own ignorance and people willing to take advantage of their ignorance. That's the world that I want to see. If my thoughts coincide with what you want to see, then have my back. You understand? That's kind of how I see it. We don't actually have to agree on everything. Thank you very much, LeSean Thomas. Thank you very much, Simone Scott. Thank you very much, Deidre. See, that's what I'm saying, guys. That's it. What they just did, guys, is they just took the opportunity and said, you know what? I'm going to set aside whatever reserve I have, whatever's holding me back. I'm just going to put it to the side and say, let me just see. Let me just do this. And I mean, a lot of you guys, whenever you give to something that you know is helping you back, there's a good feeling with that too. It's like to know that you gave something back to the person who's literally investing into your life. It is a real relation. That's a real relationship. It's not a parasitic relationship, right? Where we're just going to leech off of this energy, and I'm never going to replace the energy and give back the energy that I'm taking. I'm just going to soak up the energy. We don't want that because we'll never go forward in that way. We want a real relationship where we both give. Thank you again, Terry. Right. Minister Slow Stroker said we can barely get people to hit the like button. I heard it even yesterday. My own son said, unless someone asks in a real clever way or whatever, he don't even hit the like button. And I'm like, why? If you watched the video, did you like the video? Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I ain't just going to like everybody's video. Like, come on, man. If you like the video, show these people some love. Like, what's so hard about that? Man, it's just crazy to me. You know, I appreciate that, Key, but I'd rather be compared to somebody who actually existed. You can call me Harriet Tubman. Yeah, that's. I think I'm more relate to her, trying to set free the slaves, the people who have been manipulated and don't even know that they're manipulated. Like she said, they didn't even know they were slaves. She's still out here trying to free people who didn't even want to hear it. You see what I'm saying? And that's what it seems like. It's a lot of. It's like we're just like Neo, plugging back into the matrix, even though we're outside of the matrix and we see the world for what it is, but we're still plugging into the matrix and trying to let people know that it's a matrix, that there's a real world out here and you've been manipulated. And if you would just unplug from the matrix, you can see that it's real, you know, and and see that it's false and see what's real. You know what I mean? The same way that Neo used to always plug into the matrix and try to go and set free and do what he was trying to do for his people. You see what I'm saying? That was the whole point of the matrix, to plug back in and then redeem other people. You see what I'm saying? So again, in that very moment that cognitive dissonance kicks in and that person starts commenting on your page, telling you that you're going to hell, they just became an agent. When your family member does it, right? When the loved ones does it, even if your wife or husband does it, as soon as you say something that they know they haven't studied, and then they just come out loud and start talking junk, and they know they haven't even spent one day putting any kind of time into it, that's an agent. That sounds stupid. You haven't even taken the time to listen to what I'm saying yet. So don't even give me your premeditated judgments, right? You're already telling me it sounds stupid and you ain't even listened to what I had to say yet. This is people who say evolution is for the birds and you don't even know what evolution is. You've never even studied what they say evolution is. You just ready to come off and say evolution is wrong, and you ain't even studied evolution. You've been believing in Jesus your whole life and you ain't even studied that. Let's just be real. It's just time to start being honest with people and stop being so, I guess, timid to say what it really is, man, because, man, you may get one opportunity to speak to somebody, or it could be your last opportunity to speak to somebody, and there's no more need for sugarcoating. Let's just be honest with people and tell them, man, you ain't even read the book that you saying is real, let alone the ones that you saying are false. So how can you sit here and argue with anybody about whose God is real? You ain't even studied your own, and you haven't studied theirs. So if you haven't studied theirs, you can't tell them they're wrong. You can't. It's unfair. Thank you very much, Portia. Actions speak louder than words. Who are you? Who are you to say that? That's ego. Do you not see how that's ego? How you don't see that? You haven't read the Quran, but you can tell them theirs is wrong and the Bible is better put together. You ain't even read the Quran. It's just crazy. I got a relationship with the God I believe in, but you can't even prove that God exists. You're obviously in your ego, and you need what you desire to be real. And what you desire was given to you for you desire. It's not even your desire. See, some of your dreams weren't even your dreams. When they asked you, what do you want to be when you grew up? I guarantee you it wasn't something that you just spewed off your mouth. You had to sit there and think about it and then come up with something. You feel me? Thank you, Patience Blackwell. Actions speak louder than words. We had to come up with it. And they do this every single year to reiterate what is it that you want to be when you grow up to keep you focusing on the outside. What is it? Who do you want to be? That should be the question. Not what do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Thank you very much, Dave B. Actions speak louder than words. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be somebody who goes out and contributes to the matrix? Or do you want to be somebody who goes out and contributes to freedom and peace and having a free mind and people not being manipulated, people not being hurt and used, and the people who are preying on these people get away with it simply because they operate under the guise of a religion? What do you want to do? Do you want to contribute to the matrix? Do you want to be an agent, or do you want to be Neo? You want to take the red pill or the blue pill? You know, you gotta want to be free. That's why he was given a choice. I'm going to offer you a red pill or a blue pill. Take the blue pill. You'll wake up and you'll see the world for what it is. If you take the red pill, you're going to go back to sleep and you're going to forget all this ever happened. And many of us are taking the red pill because we don't want to see the truth. But again, ignorance is a bliss. So you're choosing to stay blissful, but you're choosing to stay ignorant. And that's why I say we all have to take that mirror and place it on ourselves. We hear this stuff growing up. When you point a finger at somebody, you got three pointing back at you, right? You're always a reflection of whatever it is that you're talking about. And the moment you look at someone and you call them ugly, you now ugly. Because why would you need to tell somebody that they ugly? If you don't like how they look, man, keep pressing. Keep on moving. And you don't have to be with them, right? You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to, spend time around them if you don't want to be around them. But what gave you the right to come out of your mouth and tell that person that they ugly and ruin their day and their security, their insecurity, right? Their confidence. What's the purpose of that, right? That you're ugly if you're doing that, right? There's no need to do that, right? And the world makes that stuff look cool. We call it roasting, right? And that's really cool. That's fun. Let's say all the stuff that somebody's insecure about and laugh at them, and let's make fun at their expense because of why. And that begins to be the cool thing. And then we latch on to even that. This is how we create matrices. And all we do is go around repeating what we see other people doing without the thought in mind that we hurting other people. We do the same thing with eating meat, things that we didn't know were that we didn't need to eat. And now we eat it anyway. And we don't take any mind for the animals that we're consuming. We're just saying, hey, I heard a guy say, man, hey, bacon tastes too good for me to consider going vegan. That's because you love yourself and you're in your ego. You care more about your taste buds than the life of another animal. And that's not an insult. It's a fact. We have to begin to look in the mirror and really see ourselves for who we are. You understand what I'm saying? I tell you guys, I told this a couple of times. My brother says he loves fish. You don't love fish. You love yourself. You love the taste of fish. So you go get fish and you eat it. But you don't love fish. If you love the actual fish itself, you would want to protect the fish, right? Not eat the fish. Right? Your children, you love them, right? Do you want to eat them? Do you want to kill them? Right? Do you want to put them in a pan and fry them? No, you don't. Right? So that's the whole key. We have to understand your lifestyle. Are you contributing to your ego? Are you feeding your ego? Or are you feeding your spirituality? You understand? That goes along with your diet. And that doesn't just mean your food. It means the stuff you listen to all the time. That's the stuff that you put into your system all the time. That's the way to do it. Yes, Lishan. The truth is vegan. I think he has a couple of cheat days every now and then, but very rarely. But he went vegan probably about 4 months ago. I encouraged him to, especially with this cancer gene and stuff coming about. Just decided it's better to be healthy, man, and stop eating meat. So he started going pescatarian first. He started working his way into it. So I think right now he goes about like 3, maybe 4 or 5 days a week with just eating vegetables, and he might eat some fish every now and then or something like that. But yeah, he's lost a lot of weight. He's doing great. But again, guys, you're not evil because you eat meat. You're just desensitized. But you can see that as an attack, or you can see it as truth. It is a fact that we'll go to other countries and try to protest dogs and say that they shouldn't be eating dogs, and we'll protest animal rights in foreign countries, but we'll eat cows here, not thinking about in other countries people love that cow and look at it as a pet, and they don't look at it as food. So you have to think they just have a different matrix than you, and you're becoming an agent in their matrix without even considering your own. And this is what I mean. We're so quick to tell somebody else that they're wrong, not willing to look at ourselves. We have to look at ourselves and be willing to make that change. Kevin, are you trying to insult? Are you calling people out? No, but I can say this. When I realized that we no longer needed meat to live and survive and to have protein and stuff like that, I thought long and hard. Do I really need to eat animals then? Like, I don't want to another animal's energy or life having to be wiped away because I want to have a taste. I would rather just not eat meat. That's just me. That was the decision that I made, and I wanted to do that. If I had known this years ago, I wouldn't have eaten meat, but I wasn't given an opportunity. My mother was giving me baby food and probably chewing up food and putting it in my mouth when I was a baby, getting me predisposed to eating meat and getting my taste buds fit for eating meat, right? The same as you guys. You were not given an opportunity. My daughter, when she found out years ago when she was a baby, probably about 6 or something like that, she found out that burgers came from cow. And, man, she was completely devastated. Completely devastated. She did not know she was eating cows this whole time. And she was like, I don't want to eat burgers anymore. And me being an agent at the time, Christian, still believed in it, right? Loved steak, rare, honestly. Laughed at her, laughed at my own little girl, saying, ha, 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 everybody wants a burger, but nobody wants to kill the cow. So now you've been eating burgers all this time, and now you don't want to eat it because it's a cow. Ha, 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 literally laughing, became an agent in a sarcastic way, like, come on, you're not really going to not eat meat now, right? And completely encourage her to still eat burger. Baby, it's okay. People eat this to survive or whatever. We have dominion over these animals. My Christian mouth, my Christian paradigm, feeding this mess to my daughter. You see what I'm saying? And I didn't know that I was still trying to encourage her to eat and consume carcinogens that can give you cancer. I didn't know that. I just knew that we ate meat and I thought meat was good. And so I encouraged it and gave it to my own child, And at the end of the day, once you learn to be better, you can get mad at yourself and feel like you're a bad person. And you can say, I was completely ignorant of that fact. And you can just take it as that. I was ignorant and I'm moving on. You understand what I'm saying? And you didn't know any better. So just change your life and move on. No need to sit here and blame yourself, right? You don't have to be an agent. Understand that we all have room to grow. Thank you very much, Oreo. You want to go to betheevolution.org. Betheevolution.org. www.betheevolution.org. You can see all the church there, brother. Thank you very much in advance. Thank you very much again, begging for change. You always keep coming back with it, man. You the man. Said the only gods we need is each other, and the only God I need is you. Absolutely. Begging for change. I'm gonna get with you, man. I'll probably have you on next week with me if you like to come on with me. So let's just go ahead and continue now. Now here, this is just showing the jack that's still in the back of Neo's head, right? I always look at it like they could have made that jack look any kind of way they wanted to, but they made it look like a sun by putting those outside clamps on it, making it look like the rays of the sun. Very symbolic, very cool to put that on. Of course, Neo represents enlightenment. He is the one. Jesus said, if your eye be single, right, then you can see heaven. If your eye be single, have a single eye, see through your one eye, your third eye, right? Thank you very much. Let's see here. That was Mary. Thank you very much, Mary. Again, I assume that people who donate to PayPal don't want their last names and stuff being called out, so I don't do that. I know that you guys probably want to maintain some secrecy. But representing the sun itself, meaning light, right? Or to be enlightened. And they always plug into this light, this place to be able to go into the other world, right? To cross over or whatever. Obviously, they put it on the back of the head. If you saw the Matrix, this is him reaching back and feeling that spot in the back of his head after he wakes up. He doesn't look the same because he looks different in the Matrix, right? He has hair. You can't see the jacks that's in his back going down his spine and in the back of his head. You can't see them because he's actually in the computer world and it simulates his hair and stuff for him. So he doesn't know that he's plugged into a machine until he wakes up. And then when he does, he realizes that he doesn't have any hair on his body. He's been shaved. And, of course, these devices or jacks are in the back of his head. And he uses these to plug into the Matrix. So we all still plug into the Matrix. We all still go into the Matrix. And we all still know how to be Neo and how to be Thomas, how to be Mr. Anderson, right? We all know how to bounce to and from Neo to Mr. Anderson. Sometimes we knowingly shut down our consciousness, Neo, in order to go into the Matrix and be Mr. Anderson, even if it's just for a mental vacation, just to get away from some of the harsh realities that is the Matrix, that is the real world. Understanding how horrible some of the world is, sometimes we need to just get out and just go out into the Matrix and deal with ignorant people. Me personally, I just typed on my page this morning that when I'm out in those type of public places, when I'm stepping out to, like, if I'm stepping out to grab a drink at a bar, anything, hookah lounge, anything, if I'm going out to sit around people and deal with public people or whatever, I always feel out of place because I know that I can't really talk about what I want to talk about. So I know I have to keep it very basic, a basic level of consciousness or awareness. If someone walks up to me and they talk to me, let's say they're talking to me about the Matrix, and they say, man, that's a dope movie, right? I'm not going to go into the esoteric symbolism and the occultic symbolism, Masonic symbolism, the brain symbolism, religious symbolism that is in the Matrix. I'm going to talk about the Matrix from a very basic level of consciousness, probably from where they are, right? Because you understand that most people cannot go that deep, and you don't want agents showing up on you, especially if you want to have a good time, right? We know that. We know that if you say certain things to certain robots, they're going to act out, right? That agent is going to show up. I'm just trying to give you guys some cheat codes, right? Just to have a little bit more peace in your life, right? Understanding when it's time to shut down the neocortex or the neo-conscious side of your brain and play dumb, right? Because some of the wisest people know when to play stupid. You understand? Just look across history, right? You have people who never revealed who they were, and horrible people, I might add, in the KKK. And then you have people like the Black Panthers who were not horrible people, but were trying to protect innocent people from the mistreatment of the authorities, right? And, but they were viewed as a gang. They never covered their faces. They were bold because they knew that they were doing right. And now we don't have a Black Panther anymore, but we still have a KKK because they did not reveal themselves. So sometimes you have to understand when it's important to not reveal yourself. You understand? So that's 1-0 KKK because they knew to hide their identities. Sometimes Neo has to understand when to hide his identity and become Thomas Anderson. In the first in the Matrix video, the first movie, they interrogate Thomas Anderson, and they're telling him in one life, you have a job where you do this, boom, 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 you go to work, you do this. But then in your next life, because you have 2 lives, Mr. Neo. That's what he's telling them. You have 2 lives. There's 2 of you, right? The one Neo, the one Thomas Anderson, he works a regular job. But the one that goes by Neo is all over the computers. He's a hacker, and he is virtually breaking every single law that we have written. And Neo never spoke about him being Neo. He only dealt with being Mr. Anderson. You feel me? He played completely dumb. So just understand when it's time to be Neo, your full truest self, and when you shouldn't be Neo, because some people ain't going to hear you, right? And every situation is not for that. Like for me personally, like if I'm at a table and like people are praying and stuff like that, let us pray, and they all hold hands to pray, I'm not going to do it. But I'm not going to say that they shouldn't either. You understand? Like that's not my place or whatever. I'm not going to step out and try to invade people's matrices by pushing it on them. That's what a lot of religious people do. Someone has said that agents hold up picket signs or signs saying you're going to hell if you don't get right, Jesus coming back, all gay people going to hell. They hold up all these signs to disrupt your paradigm and push that matrix on you. So I don't want to be a person that does that. I keep it online because if you type in my stuff, if you come across it, you can keep on moving if you want to. Nobody's putting a gun to your head. But I'm not going to come up to you in public and push it on you either. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I look at it. All right, so we always are plugging into the matrix, right, family? And we always having to deal with different people within the matrix. And knowing how to deal with those people are very important. You understand? I'm going to stop a little bit and ask anybody if they have any questions. And then I'll try to do a little bit of Q&A. And then we'll wrap it up for tonight. Next week, we're still going into the matrix, guys. We're going to talk about the brain. I said we was going to talk about the brain this week, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper into understanding who are agents, who are you, how you could be an agent, and things like that. How to change the matrix, but next week we're going to talk about how to unplug from the matrix, how to not be a part of the matrix, because we all have to contribute to the matrix in some sort of way. We don't have any other choice, but at the same time, how do you not be a part of the matrix, right? So let's see. Marco says, I'm currently, I'm going to try to get to that, Marco. So I'm currently with a woman who really believes in this book, and we have a child together. I'm really having a hard time, not to mention I'm vegan and she's not. How would any of you handle it? That's a good question, brother. The question you have to ask yourself is, how important is it to you to have a peaceful life with this woman if you're currently still with her? Of course, you want to have a peaceful life with her when it comes to your child, but at the same time, you don't want to make the situation worse by even trying to teach the child what you know now, different from her. Many people say just leave it alone and let her do her thing, which is completely wrong. You can't just give the power to somebody who has a belief and say, let them continue to teach your child some crazy stuff. No, what I say do is the best way that you can, or what I would do is whenever I got an opportunity, I would always challenge my child to deal with those type of concepts that's been given to them so they can challenge it, right? Have an open mind. So let your child talk to you about religion, right? Is there any questions you have about, when your mama take you to church or whatever, and see if they have any questions. Like a child asked the other day, he's 10, he asked his father, who made God? That's a very good question. Does God have a mama? Is it mother God and daddy God? Like, what's their name? Does they have brothers? That's a very good question. These are the type of questions that you want your children to ask, and you can ask your children these same questions. Who made Santa Claus? Who are his parents? He seems to be eternal. He never dies. He knows when you're naughty or nice, so he's all-knowing. He can get all around the world and in one night, so he can do miracles, all this crazy stuff. He can even get into your house when you don't have an apparatus for him to get into the house, right? He can just show up in your house and bring you gifts. He knows, again, I say he knows when you're naughty and nice, so he judges you based on your morale, and he based on whether he's going to give you a reward or punish you, right? A lump of coal if you're bad, and then gifts if you're good. And you challenge your children to be able to, can a man really go around the world in one night? Do you know how big and large the world is? Do you know how many different beliefs there are around Christmas time? Dealing with Santa Claus is a fact. Did you know there are other children in the planet who lose their teeth, and the tooth fairy does not bring them teeth? I mean, does not bring them money. They do not come and pick their teeth up because the tooth fairy is not taught there. Why does the tooth fairy go all over the world? And eventually they'll begin to have this type of thinking towards this other information that they're getting. But you have to be able to start that spark, right? Let's see here. Right, Riri said you don't have to push it down their throat. Absolutely. Let's see here. And one said, thank you, Kevin Wesley. Born Winners, that's exactly what I be mad about. Mind their own business. Isn't God supposed to be revealing himself? That is absolutely true, shouldn't he? He's supposed to be all powerful, right? So where are the signs, right? Yeah, it said, I like that when somebody says a baby asks their parents, how does Santa get in the house without an alarm on? Absolutely. Right, Tamash, that's a good question. What were your ancestors eating before fire, before the creation of fire? We definitely wasn't eating chicken, eating fish, not fish, but eating animals and stuff raw, because we don't even have the metabolism or the stomach for that. Like, we're not carnivores, right? If you were a true carnivore, you would be looking at your dog licking your lips, your cat licking your lips, right? A squirrel licking your lips. You like what's put on your plate, and it has to be cooked just right for you to even eat it. Let's be honest. So you're not a carnivore. You're not. You like recipes and you like to cook your stuff and go garlic in it and vegetables in your food. You got to sprinkle vegetables on your food before you even eat it. You don't like meat. You really don't. You're desensitized into eating meat. And you have to you have to really think about that. You may think that that's my choice. I eat meat because I like it. No, you were taught to eat meat. Trust me. That's the world we live in, man. We have the diet. If you live in America, I can almost guarantee you probably have an American diet. You definitely don't have an Asian diet. I can guarantee you that, right? Your diet is going to be demographic, just like people's religion. Keep an open mind. You have to be willing to challenge your way of life just the same way you challenge your religion, man, if you're going to break free from it, right? If you was born in China, you'd be eating all kind of other crazy stuff, right? Probably a lot of calamari or whatever, a lot of raw foods, a lot of sushi, a lot of rice. You'll be eating the things that they eat on the norm. That's cultural for them, right? If I didn't thank you, Marco Brown, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Cactus Heart. He said, when approaching a theist mind slave, you've got to approach them gently and at their level. Absolutely. They will fight to keep their chains, even try to beat you up with them. Absolutely. Love you too, brother. That's absolutely powerful. And then I guess you may be a sister. But nevertheless, thank you for the comment. Right. It's got to be strategic. And I like to do it with questions. I like to, because if you ask them questions, you make them come up with their own answer in their mind, and then they can't undo it. But if you just say something, they'll block you out, right? If you're just talking to them, they'll shut you out because they're already thinking. They're thinking of what they're going to say next. So they're not listening. They're only thinking about what they're going to respond with, right? So what I do is I ask them questions so they can't think of what they're going to respond with. They have to answer the question. This makes them answer it themselves because it's really simple stuff. You just have to get the brain started. Remember when Neo first woke up, they had to put all these little pins inside of him, acupuncture, to get his muscles back stabilized. They said, why all those pins in him? He said, because his muscles have not been used in a while. It's muscle atrophy. We have to strengthen his muscles so he can move around again. And Neo represents the consciousness, right? So the consciousness has to be strengthened so it can work by itself. Right. So first I'm going to challenge it and put some stress on the consciousness because it requires stress, which is why Neo had to see the world for what it was. And he starts throwing up and stuff. He can't handle it for saying it what it was. Because he got shot a couple of times before he awakened. But you need that stress to challenge your consciousness. They take a bird. Let's say take a bird, for instance. If you ever heard the term or turn a phrase, stirring up the nest. A baby bird will take and or the mother bird, when it realizes that baby bird is not going to jump out of that nest and begin to learn to fly on its own, and it wants that bird to get out of the nest, it'll stir up the nest. And a lot of parents will use that too. When it's time for you to move out, I'm about to stir up the nest. What that means is that that mother bird will take her beak and start pulling the straws of the nest outward, so they'll poke into the baby bird, making it uncomfortable for the baby bird in the nest, right? This would push the baby bird to getting out of there because now it's not comfortable. Stirring up the nest, right? Put stress on the consciousness in order to set it free, to make it sprout its wings. So I prefer to ask questions so you can answer it yourself. So I'll ask something simple, right? We'll say Adam and Eve. Eve had 2 sons. How did they continue? And most Christians have never thought of this. So they're going to have to answer the question. God is good all the time, but why couldn't God just forgive Eve and Adam for eating the fruit without someone dying? Why does God need death to forgive somebody? Now you're asking them a question that it doesn't answer in the Bible. So now they don't have a regurgitated answer for you. They have to say something on their own. And that's when you realize how ignorant they are. Because whatever they say is going to sound so stupid, it literally will about make you mad. Just listening to their response. And that's why you be like, bruh, what you just say? Say what? Say that again? And we can look at a grown adult who would try to explain Noah's Ark as if it really happened. And you see the same thing. They're just regurgitating what they know. But instead of bringing them to that point, simply ask them a question. How could a sloth get all the way from South America, to Africa, swim across the seas? How could a blind mole who senses its navigation through vibration in the earth, How did it find its way to Africa and swim through water? Because we're talking about every species now, right? So when you ask these questions, they get upset with you, right? Somebody even said that they didn't actually put animals on the ark. Noah went around the world and got a DNA sample from every animal and every species on the planet. Noah got a DNA sample and put slides on the ark. And then I asked the question, okay, how did they make the DNA into animals again? Did they have a lab, right? Like, how did they do that? And he gets mad again. You can't discredit God. God can do anything. Like, dude, you're clearly just making up crap. Like Marco Brown said, what? Look at Tamasha. Dang. Because that just sounds crazy, right? But they'll pay homage and say, wow. Hey, man, you remember when, you probably do pay homage. Remember when Morpheus took Neo into the building sample, and Morpheus is going to jump from one building to the other, right? And when he jumps, Neo's like this is why I say it's many levels to watching the movie, because I see it esoteric. I see symbolism. But some people can see it just on the surface level. And if you see it on the surface level, you realize Keanu Reeves may be one of the worst actors in the world, right? Next to Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever. But he sees Morpheus leap from one building all the way to the other, and Keanu Reeves or Neo looked at him and said, whoa. Like he was freaking Joey from Step by Step or something. It's like, whoa. It's just like a basic monotone voice. Horrible actor, but the movie's great. But he said that the DNA from 2 of each animal that was unclean, 5 of each animal that was clean. Why would God want the DNA from 5 unclean animals? Why? If you're going to just recreate, if the animals are not going themselves, you can create a bunch of animals from the DNA of just 2. Why would God ask for 5? And remember, God said so he could sacrifice, so Noah could sacrifice them later after the boat sank, or after the boat settled to the earth. So if God is asking that you put 2 of every unclean animal on the ark, and then 5 of every clean animal on the ark, which were animals that you were given permission to eat in Exodus. Okay, so the food laws, if you want to study those. So clean animals were things that, like, say, let's for instance, thank you very much, Letitia Hickson. Actions speak louder than words. So let's say a clean animal, according to the Bible, is like a cow. A cow eats grass, and it has a split hoof. So the hoof has a split in it, right? So you can eat that. A pig has a split hoof, but it doesn't eat the grass or the cud. The Bible uses that word. So it's unclean. A horse eats grass, but it has a cloven hoof, a full connected hoof with no line, no separation. So that animal would be considered unclean. So it tells you what's clean and unclean, right? So why would God demand that you put 5 of every clean animal on it to sacrifice them later, and then say, but put it all on slides? Come on, man. Let's be honest. Please stop. Thank you very much, Cactus Heart. Again, Cactus Heart says sometimes the better strategy, instead of trying to win hearts and blow minds, is simply to crack their dam. Absolutely. Sometimes that alone is enough, and the fault lines will spread on their own. That's absolutely right. All you want to do is upset their paradigm, make them think, say some stuff that is so critical they cannot unthink it, ruin their day. Like, honestly, like, that's what I always say. I do not take joy in ruining someone's day. I do not. But I do know that if I ruin your day, then pretty much my job is done. I mean, I see that Christian, they get mad and they start taking my pictures and putting them on their wall and creating whole scenarios about me, or sharing my stuff saying this man is a liar and an antichrist, don't listen to nothing he say, and they go out of their way to comment on all my stuff. And you can see them commenting with other people all day long to try to prove their religion and their belief system. I do feel accomplished because I got you on the subject and I got you to talk about it. And if we can talk about it, we can figure it out. But most people are not even willing to deal with it. They're not even willing to deal with their belief system. They just simply say it's blasphemy. I refuse to even challenge it. I'm just going to go with the flow. But if I can say something enough that challenges your paradigm, I can get you to talk to me, right? And even if it's argue, because I know your argument is coming from a place of ignorance and being upset, right? Right, exactly, Javon Sims. I've always wondered why a God who can create humans from nothing would need to put animals in an ark. Why not just start over? Why save Noah and his family? Why? Right? It's just weird. You're going to say that the whole world was contaminated from having sex with angels or Nephilims, except for Noah and his family. So the 7 people that you would say would be in Noah's family, every last one of them were completely free from giant or Nephilim DNA. 7 people on the whole planet. How is this possible? Because if the whole world except for 7 people is contaminated with this DNA, then you didn't even have to technically have sex with a Nephilim to be part Nephilim. This is why all the babies and stuff had to die. So please tell me how in the world Noah and his family end up surviving all of this. Like, come on, man. He could have just started over all the way or prevented it from happening because you knew it was going to happen anyway, right? We talk about this stuff all the time, and to us, it's really easy. But people say God's ways are not like ours. Why not when he likes to smell the animals burning too? Right? Dirty Water says sometimes ruining people's day is fun. I gotta admit it has its upside. But I'm really a peaceful guy. I really don't like to cause people any type of harm, especially in their mental, because I know how it can be. But at the same time, as long as I'm not personally offending them or ruining their name, I don't have any problem with it, man. Yeah, their paradigm 100% needs to be addressed because we got to make the world better. And I refuse to keep my mouth closed so they can continue messing up our world. Let's be honest, man. It's the ignorant people that's out here continuing to having the most babies. And so if they're ignorant and they're having a lot of babies, they're going to raise their babies to be as ignorant as they are. You can only teach what you know, right? So we have to try to correct some of these robots that exist in our matrix before they reproduce and create more robots. You understand that we all are somewhat on an assembly line creating other robots, right? And so we got to make sure that the other robots or vessels or avatars that we bring into this world, that we're giving them the right tools that they need to survive in this matrix. And ignorant people are going to do nothing but create other ignorant people, right? So let's try to offer the blue pill as often as we can, just for the sake of peace and helping out our world. Not to cause harm, but the whole point is our intention is good. It really is. And that's true, Brian Randall. I understand, DJ. I understand. Thank you very much, brother. And whenever you're able to, I'll be here. So, guys, listen, man, we're about to get off here. But next week, keep in mind, we're going to be dealing with how to unplug from the matrix, how to know that you're not an agent, and how to keep from being an agent. We have to realize that we are capable of being agents too. And there are places in our lives that we do contribute to the matrix, and as if it's a good thing. And we have to consistently be aware of that. I heard someone refer to the deli area at the supermarket as a morgue, and it really struck my paradigm. Now, I'd already been vegan because I didn't hear this until like a month or two ago. They referred to the and it could have been Pay Homage was telling me about that too. That someone referred to the morgue. The deli at the supermarket as a morgue, and to me it was just like, wow, that's so true, because it is. It's just a place with cold dead beings, right? And we go with a buggy and pick it up, take it home, and eat it. You know what I mean? Like, if that was humans laying there, we wouldn't do it. And you know, if you were to break down the DNA of the animals that we eat, we're not much different. You see what I'm saying? And it's like we always try to justify it with saying that animals don't have souls or whatever you convince yourself, or that it tastes good, whatever the case may be. Even if it's within your ignorance and you say, well, you need protein, we need animals, even if it's within your ignorance of religion that you believe you have dominion and that somehow God gave you a right to control all the animals and everything in the world and eat whatever you want, if that's your paradigm. Either way, we contribute to the matrix that we're designed to eat meat and we're not. And we can say, I want to eat meat. That's your choice, right? If you have the freedom to eat meat and you want to do it, man, you absolutely can do that if you want to. My choice, though, is that I didn't want to eat meat. You understand what I'm saying? So I didn't want to continue to eat something that I, number one, didn't need to eat to survive. I mean, how would you feel if you rode down the road and you saw a horse eating a cow, right? An animal that's not designed to eat meat, eating meat, you'd be like, that's crazy, right? You would be so weirded out if you saw a gorilla like jump on a zebra and just like start biting it. You know what I mean? You'd look at that like that was really crazy. You know, if you saw animals that were completely vegan or herbivores eating meat, we'll be mind blown, right? Homage says people don't think about the FDA. Means food and drug. Absolutely. They are telling you what's up. Absolutely. Everyone said I always get nervous to donate because for real, I don't want to be judged by people for how much I donate. And again, that's false evidence appearing real. Put that to the side. Don't worry about what is okay for the general public to say is okay for you to donate. Man, be free. Don't live your life worrying about what somebody thinks of you, brother. Help is help. If that's all you have to give comfortably without hurting yourself, then give it, man. You shouldn't worry about what nobody say. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care if it's a quarter. Man, if all of us are helping the best we can, then if your help is all you have, then you're helping as much as the next person, right? So you don't have to deal with that in your head. Who's going to be okay with what I give? You understand what I'm saying? Man, you see people giving $3, some people give $1, and a lot of times that's all I'd be asking for. If we all gave $1 every week, then we'd be perfectly fine. I mean, obviously we could use a lot more than that, but with more people, equals more dollars. So I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate you asking that question and making it known that you do get nervous when you think about giving. But you don't, man. You don't have to get nervous. It doesn't matter what anybody says. If someone gave $1,000 and they criticized you for giving $5, they cannot criticize you. They do not know your money situation at all to be telling you what you should give. So absolutely. Lishan said, watch What the Health, everybody. That's a very good documentary. It's on Netflix too. So if it's still on Netflix, I know it was when I saw it. Riri Haas says, I've never been a baby cow. You're absolutely right. You don't need to start acting like one either. Thank you very much, Tevin Ruff. Actions speak louder than words, brother. Right, Claudia. Claudia says, I gave $3, not worrying about what others think. And we listen, guys. You don't understand. If you can't give the finances, sharing it, liking it, inviting people to the page, tagging people in it, all that stuff is also a donation. The goal is to spread the word. Now we do need money to make it to make actions, but the words need to be out there as well. So definitely help us. We can't have other people joining and giving to our cause if they don't know about it. So help as much as you can. Thank you very much, Vic Padilla, for the donation. Okay, and one, that's great. Iron Charioteer says that another way that people can't move forward is thinking that everyone is out to get them, not getting their facts straight. That's absolutely true. We need to be a little bit better in how we come to our conclusions, because in life we have been taught to just satisfy, what we used to always believe in terms of, or we've been taught to satisfy our narrative, how we feel. So when you start feeling like somebody's out to get you, every little thing they do is going to be proof that they're out to get you. And we understand now that we can't do that, because that's how we got so deep in religion. You pray to God that you wake up in the morning, right? If I should die before I wake, I pray to God my soul to take. Jesus, if you out there, please let me wake up in the morning. I ain't ready to die yet. I'm scared of hell, whatever. And you wake up the next morning and you attribute that to Jesus being real. You see what I'm saying? We got to stop that. And not just Jesus, but Allah, Buddha, Krishna. Every people always say, why you say Jesus? Not just Jesus. Insert whatever God you pray to, right? Thank you, Candy. She says, thanks for educating us, Kevin. I absolutely do my best. And again, thank you for the donation. Actions speak louder than words. Okay, guys. So it's touching 10:54 now. Thank you very much, Michael Jordan. But we're going to be ready to get up out of here. Listen, guys, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, and all that stuff is in the description. So far, we've gotten up to around $5,000 for the GoFundMe in terms of for me getting the process or getting my stomach taken care of with this 8 CDH1 cancer gene. So for those of you who are planning to donate to that tonight, please hit that link whenever we get off and make your donation there. And again, thanks in advance, guys. I definitely do need you guys' help in getting this surgery, as I do not have insurance or financial way to go about getting it, and I do need to have it, get it done. I will let you guys know going forward what the process is. I meet with them on Friday. I have a biopsy done or an endoscopy done. Endoscopy, I should say, is what they call it. They put me to sleep for that, so this is where they go inside and take pieces of the stomach tissue to be able to tell you if you currently have cancer. So I know I have the CDH1 cancer gene, which makes me prone to getting cancer. But now I need to find out if I actually already have it, since I'm around the age of my mother when she died. My sister went and got the same test and discovered that she did have cancer. So of course she's already gotten her stomach removed. So I will let you guys know how that turns out or whatever. So I imagine that it'll be a week or so before those results are back. But of course, the sense of urgency is still there, regardless of what they say. I need to get this done. Alarming statistic of the people who get their stomach checked out, the endoscopy, and they do not discover cancer. Those people who 23, okay, out of 23 people who had the endoscopy done and did not discover cancer, the 23 that removed their stomach, even though it did not have cancer, 21 of the stomachs removed actually had cancer. Just imagine that. Out of 23, 21 of them actually had cancer, even though they didn't find it. These are people who they did not find the cancer, because cancer can be so small, right? Be very small. And so if they can try to pull pieces of the tissue or remove pieces of the tissue to examine it, but they may not pick the right spot. And so they may say, hey, as of right now, you don't have cancer. And many people who say, you know what, let me just go ahead and have my stomach removed anyway, like, of course, my plan to do. Statistically, 21 out of 23 of those people ended up having cancer in their stomach once it was removed, which tells you that there was a high risk of them dying, in a horrible way. So if they didn't go on ahead and have it removed. So that's why the sense of urgency is so high, guys. But again, that'll be it for tonight, guys. I won't keep you guys any longer. Thank you guys so much for the donations. You guys are getting so much better. I'm so proud. I really am. Just to see the people starting to finally take to the message, man, so we can get out here and make a difference in the world. Again, I'm tired of talking, and I'm sure y'all tired of talking too. It's time to start making a difference. I want to be somebody who people can say, this brother is actually out here making a difference. He talk about pastors and how they stealing from people, manipulating people. And man, look at the brother. He really showing you how it's done. I want other preachers and pastors to look at what I'm doing and be like, well, dang, I can't argue with the brother now. He's showing us up. He's showing us how it's done. But I can't do that if I don't have y'all help. If y'all don't give me the funds to be able to do that with, I can't do it on my own. I don't have a money print machine, right? And it would be unfair for you to say, Kevin, go work and make as much money as you can and give all the money that you earn to the people. That would be unfair, because I can earn a bunch of money and it still wouldn't be enough to even put a dent in what's going on. We need each other's help, right? Claudia says, you helped me so much. Thank you, Kevin. Absolutely. And you guys have helped me, believe it or not. Just knowing that I had to have to be prepared to talk with you guys from week to week keeps me on my toes, to where I'm always investing into my higher self to get information to make sure it's rightly presented to you guys. So you guys don't understand. A lot of you are responsible for my consciousness now. So believe me, you guys have been as much help to me as I have been to you guys. You're right, begging for change. Ricky, man, you don't even understand, brother. I'm so to myself. Man, I had a horrible life. Grandparents was already dead before I was born. The one grandparent that did live, she died when I was young as well. My mother was dead when I was born. I don't know any of my grandparents, like I said. I don't even know who I am in terms of tracing my ancestry. My mother's last name was Wesley, and she wasn't even really a Wesley. So when you go through life, and she got the name of her mother's ex-husband, because her mother hadn't changed her name yet. So I don't even know what my last name should be, because all of them are dead, right? So my whole point is my life was hard, and so I've learned to, I guess, survive on my own without a bunch of people to help me, because when you don't have grandparents and parents, who the heck is gonna help you, right? aside from some friends and stuff like that, and they can't really help you because they ain't your daddy. I mean, they ain't obligated to giving you jack. And so when you go through life like that, it really makes you not want to ask people for stuff. You're not used to that. So it was definitely very hard for me to ask for support. And to see some of the harsh responses definitely broke my heart. But to see some of you guys coming through and having my back and donating, that definitely helped me too. So helped my psyche, because I was really like, what? Really? Y'all gonna do me like that? Like, y'all gonna say stuff like that to me? I was really hurt by that. So, but I appreciate you guys' kind words, the guys who comment on the GoFundMe and leave a message and all that kind of stuff. I really do appreciate you guys. For real, for real. So, anyway, guys, that's it. I'll see you guys next week. I know I talked about it being 6:30, but until we start doing our shows at the gathering spot, we're going to keep it at 8 o'clock. I want to save 6:30 for the first time that we do the gathering spot, just so it's more beautiful. All right. So Tamasha says our moderators are the truth as well. Absolutely. Thank you, moderators. You guys definitely take care of me. Get people out of the way when they're talking crazy, so I don't have to worry about it. Sometimes even see it. So I definitely appreciate you guys. True Elohim says, Kevin, don't be hurt or whatever. Says, I'm sorry, don't be hurt, Kevin. That's the way of the world. I believe it. I know that's true, brother. But I think we can change the way the world is, because that's a matrix, remember? If we change the people, we can change the matrix. Or if the people are willing to change themselves, because we can't change the people. They have to be willing to change themselves, right? Unlearn the old crap. Thank you very much, DID. And then that way we can create this world. Trucker Sean says, Kevin, you were a born winner. Absolutely, Trucker, and so were you. Every one of us were. And so we just have to make that happen in reality, right? I went with the gathering, the Dirty Water. I am working on that. I actually meet with them this week, so I can get that set up. So I'm definitely approved. So we definitely have the spot, but I have to go in and do a formal interview. So I'll go in with them and do a formal interview, discuss with them what my mission is and what I'll be using the facilities for, and then I'll be able to get you guys a solid date. But what I'm trying to do, guys, is I want to start doing the podcast inside the gathering spot, where the people in Atlanta or surrounding areas can come out and actually sit inside and have a good time. We can sit out, come actually to the place, of course. So that's what I want to do. And of course, it'll still be live for you guys as well. But I want to actually turn this into something big. I want this to grow. All right, I want our podcast to grow and be absolutely huge. Maybe have like a podcast talk show feel where there's a podcast and there's an audience listening as well, raising their hand and either standing up and asking questions versus having to call into a show. I'd like to really see it grow, right? Kenny, you thinking about moving back to ATL? I feel you. That's actually my next move, guys. I want to get to ATL. Where I am now, I don't have internet, so I'm always having to travel somewhere else. I got a friend who allows me to use one of his rooms to do the show in right now, so I'm really trying to get to Atlanta so I can really work on, of course, my clothing and just get to an area where there's more people who could help with my mission, because I'm in a really small town and it's really hard to maneuver. So that's my next goal, guys. And if I can get in Atlanta, that's right where the gathering spot is too. So I want to be close to that so we can use that spot as much as possible and grow this mission, man, and be seen everywhere doing amazing things. Like, I want our nonprofit to be as large as freaking March of Dimes or any of these people out here. When people think nonprofit, I want them to think, born winners. That's what I want them to think, not, all these other nonprofits that are out here that don't even give the funds to the people who really need it. So, Rui says, great show. Thank you guys very much. Thank you guys for coming out and making the show great. So, again, I love you guys. Thanks for coming on. I ain't gonna keep you no longer. I always like dealing with y'all, so it's always hard for me to let y'all go. But again, peace to you guys. Be the evolution. Be the change that you want to see, and no candle loses its flame by lighting another. All right? Peace, family.